Jang Fan's memory remains untouched by the Bodhisattva's power, a secret that shakes Master Pugang to his core. With the shaving ceremony beginning and a blood moon rising over a White Bone Warhorse, the confrontation is inevitable. Leave a like and subscribe to walk this path. Vajra turned his head, smiling as he looked at the two of them. Wei Wuji's face twitched. He stopped the voice transmission immediately and drank his tea nonchalantly. Qi Yin Master also gazed at his nose at his mouth, and his mouth at his heart. In his heart, he echoed Wei Wuji's sentiments. Is there really no one who can teach these overbearing bald monks a lesson? Even letting them suffer a big loss would do. There were several invited guests from various sects present. Although they looked emotionless like him, they surely felt aggrieved just like him. Called here only to be used as an example. How is this different from being openly slapped in the face? Since everyone is here, let's begin the shaving ceremony. Sky Demon Emperor, I ask you, have you willingly joined our White Horse Temple? The Sky Demon Emperor put his palms together, his face calm. Disciple moved by Buddhist law, deeply feels past sins were grave, wishes to bathe in the light of Buddha, cleanse the past, change heart and soul. This scene made those present feel a chill in their hearts. The majestic Sky Demon Emperor, a powerful ruler of a demon race, was completely converted just like that. If they could convert him, wouldn't the same be possible for those present? They felt as if they were sitting on pins and needles, the chairs under them like they were growing thorns, making it impossible to be at ease. Even Qi Yin Master's heart couldn't help but tremble slightly. White Horse Temple, not to be trifled with. The Dharma seal Vajra surveyed everyone, and his smiling eyes seemed to see through to all their inner emotions. He spoke with a warm and deep voice. Since you sincerely worship and join our Buddhism, let this poor monk personally perform your shaving ceremony. He picked up the razor, cutting away the Sky Demon Emperor's golden long hair, strand by strand. 1 cut severs 7 emotions, 2 cuts eliminate resentments, 3 cuts cleanse worldly heart, 4 cuts remove mixed desires. The surrounding novice monks chanted Buddhist scripture. As the last lock of golden hair fell to the ground, a middle-aged, benevolent-looking monk in blue robes with a shaven head knelt before the Buddha. The Dharma seal Vajra took out a 30-minute incense, began marking the scar, saying as he did, "Since you've joined our Buddhism, your past name, identity, all your past has fallen away with your hair. This monk bestows upon you the Dharma name Shannaming, hoping you accumulate virtue and do good, guiding suffering people to the light." Shannaming put his palms together. "Thank you, Master of Dharma Seal." The last scar was marked. From this moment on, there was no longer the Sky Demon Emperor, only Shannaming monk. "Shannaming, greet your friends from various major sects." Shannaming monk stood up, looked around, and saluted each one individually. "Shannaming greets all donors." Qi Yin Master, Wei Wuji, and others stood up, returning the salute with complex expressions. From now on, Buddhism gains another Demon Emperor realm powerhouse. Qi Yin Master said, "Since the conversion is complete, I shall take my leave." He didn't want to linger even for a moment longer, feeling humiliated and afraid. Others also cupped their hands, leaving with heavy hearts. But just as they stepped out of the hall of great strength, Qi Yin Master suddenly halted, his gaze fixated at the edge of the vast sea. Wei Wuji was stunned for a moment, then said, "Senior Qi Yin, why aren't you leaving?" But as he followed Qi Yin Master's gaze, his expression froze as well. A black line connecting the sky appeared at the horizon. It was called a line because it was so far away it looked as thin as a strand. What is that? A line connecting heaven and earth? Why do I feel that the black line is getting thicker? Is it moving? Experts from various sects who came out began to express their surprise. Hearing the commotion, the Dharma seal Vajra walked out with a smile. Seeing the connecting sky-black pillar, he also felt puzzled and passed his smiling fingers over his eyes. A faint layer of Buddha light emerged in his eyes, revealing the true form of the black line. Upon seeing it, the smile on his face gradually vanished and slowly became serious, because he recognized what it was and saw more clearly it was heading towards White Horse Temple very soon. Many high monks of White Horse Temple noticed it, soaring into the sky, releasing blazing golden Buddha light. Their expressions also growing serious. Qi Yin Master finally realized what it was, gasping. "Connecting sky-black pillar." "Ah," Wei Wuji exclaimed in shock. "Isn't the connecting sky-black pillar on the continent? Why is it appearing in Pugang state?" Hearing this, a sense of impending doom enveloped everyone's hearts, making guests, especially the monks of White Horse Temple, notably uneasy. "Why is it moving?" Could it be the work of a hell beast? It must be the hell beast. Besides it, who else in heaven and earth can affect this thing? Dong, dong, dong. White Horse Temple started ringing a short and urgent toll of bells. One after another, powerful Buddhist monks soared into the sky with pale golden Buddha light. Fierce beast mounts leaped into the sky as well. An old monk was explaining the Buddhist scripture to a new little monk. In the beginning, there was nothing. Where does the dust alight? It means we should not be influenced by external things, achieving inner peace. The little monk showed a look of awakening, said, "Disciple understands. At any time one must remain calm, even if Mount Tai collapses in front, remain unflustered." The old monk nodded gratifiedly. "This child can be taught." Suddenly, the bell rang. The old monk was startled, stood up immediately, grabbing the little monk and rushing outside in a serious manner. The little monk said, "Master, why are we running? Didn't you say not to be influenced by external things?" The old monk looked flustered. "This is the warning of an attack from a great enemy of this temple. The last time it happened, it was 10 years ago. Quick, go to Dharma Mountain to take refuge." Bam. Just as they ran out, they collided with someone and fell to the ground. Looking up, they realized the temple was already in chaos. The disciples were rushing towards the back mountain, colliding with each other, creating a scene of disarray. Not long ago, the solemn and sacred Buddhist holy land fell into great chaos. High monks and mythical beasts confronted an ominous threat. In one blink, they watched the approaching connecting sky-black pillar intently. Wei Wuji swallowed hard, saying, "Senior Qiyin, this hell beast seems to be coming for White Horse Temple. What should we do?" Qiyin Master said sternly. "Do you wish to get involved? Is the hell beast something we can provoke? Let White Horse Temple worry about it themselves." At this moment, 1,000 Jang Buddha light rose from the depths of White Horse Temple. An elder monk wearing red cassia, surrounded by 4 Buddha statues illusions, his skin shimmering with pale golden light, stepped into the sky. Abbot, high monks in the air, and numerous mythical beasts bowed respectfully. The one before them was none other than the abbot of White Horse Temple, Master Pugang, a most powerful 3rd grade Vajra. In Buddhism, Vajra ranking ranges from 1st grade to 9th grade, from highest to lowest. A 1st grade Vajra is only a step away from a Bodhisattva. Master Pugang before them was a 3rd grade Vajra high monk. He stared at the connecting sky-black pillar silently. Beside him, a 4th grade Vajra shouted angrily, "Who provoked the hell beast, bringing such an infinite disaster upon our temple?" Horse Temple. Responsible for the safety of the White Horse Temple, he looked around with a face full of anger. When his gaze fell on the Dharma Seal Vajra, he demanded, "Dharma Seal, is it you? You have been out quite often recently." The Dharma Seal Vajra clasped his hands together. Reporting to the Demon Suppression Guardian, the disciple has not encountered the hell beast. It was not the disciple who brought this disaster. The Demon Suppression Guardian coldly surveyed the others. "Then who?" No one responded, nor dared to. "The hell beast brought the connecting sky-black pillar, causing not just a disaster, but a calamity. Who would dare to admit it?" Pugang hosted a dignified presence, looking at the approaching connecting sky-black pillar, and said, "Prepare for battle." The monks and their mounts immediately surged with powerful mana, fixing their gaze intently on the connecting sky-black pillar. Closer, even closer, the legendary connecting sky-black pillar that summons the descent of the ancient giants. All the monks of the White Horse Temple were as if facing a great enemy. But just as the connecting sky-black pillar approached, they realized it was not the hell beast that carried it. It was a spirit boat cruising on the sea. At the bow stood a stunning beauty like a figure from a painting. Behind her, a dark-clad boy sat cross-legged. He carried the connecting sky-black pillar, surrounded by 2 Tenjang-high illusions. One was the 8-armed divine statue, emitting dazzling brilliance. The other was the human emperor statue donned in a golden dragon robe, crowned with a 9-tassel crown, and holding the emperor's sword. As the golden cloud spirit boat docked, the dark-clad boy suddenly opened his cold eyes, transforming into lightning descending from the sky. He shouted in an icy roar, "Sky Demon Emperor, come out and face your death." The powerful current, as strong as a thunderbolt, ignited a patch of grass and trees, setting them ablaze. Jang Fan stood amidst the flames, carrying the connecting sky-black pillar filled with murderous intent. Like a messenger of death from hell, the guests were stunned. The many monks of the White Horse Temple were also stunned. It turned out not to be the hell beast, but a vengeful youth. The Demon Suppression Guardian regained his senses, shouting with authority, "Dare to be unruly in my Buddhist forbidden land. How dare you?" "Shut up!" Jang Fan's eyes turned red, angrily shouting as he took the connecting sky-black pillar off his back and stuck it into the White Horse Temple. I'll give your White Horse Temple two choices. First, hand over the Sky Demon Emperor. Second, take the connecting sky-black pillar. No other options. The Demon Suppression Guardian was furious to tell him to shut up. In the entire Pugang state, no one dared speak those words to him. Capture him? He roared. Jang Fan drew the purple sword, holding it against his throat, and laughed angrily. If I die, the connecting sky-black pillar will forever remain here. The monks' expressions changed dramatically. They all shouted, "Stop! Master, please wait!" In 1,000 years of history, no one has ever been heard of being able to move the connecting sky-black pillar. Jang Fan was the one and only. If he were to die, the connecting sky-black pillar would truly take root in the White Horse Temple. Unless they abandon this Buddha court and find another place to rebuild the White Horse Temple. Otherwise, they would face the calamity of the ancient giants. The monks who were ready to capture Jang Fan stopped in unison. Jang Fan laughed coldly. Come on! Isn't your White Horse Temple domineering? Isn't it at will? Why don't you dare to move? Come on, all of you. The Demon Suppression Guardian's face turned uncertain, enraged. I don't believe you'll have the heart to commit suicide. Do it. Jang Fan unhesitatingly turned the purple sword. This action scared the Demon Suppression Guardian into changing his expression, hurriedly saying, Wait! A bead of cold sweat formed on his forehead. What's with this person? He truly dares to act. If he really dies due to his words, leaving the connecting sky-black pillar at the White Horse Temple, he would be the sinner of the temple. He reluctantly cast a helpless look towards the host. Pugang, observing Jang Fan, said, Master, you are late. The Sky Demon Emperor has already joined our White Horse Temple. Whatever grievances you have, I am willing to resolve for you. I'll resolve it for 18 generations of your ancestors. Jang Fan's eyes were filled with overwhelming hatred. If it weren't for the interference of the Dharma seal Vajra, could the Sky Demon Emperor still commit evil? And now you have the face to speak of resolving grievances. The atrocity of slaying 158 members of the demon race, that's because of your White Horse Temple. If not for that wooden golden Buddha, the Sky Demon Emperor would have died long ago. How else could he harm Ling Shu's people? The hypocrisy of the White Horse Temple is the greatest evil. The Dharma seal Vajra frowned slightly. Master Jiang, your hostility is too great. Jang Fan laughed angrily at the sky. My hostility is great. You caused the death of 158 people, killed the one I loved, and made me watch her die in spirit. And you blame me for my hostility being great? Ha ha ha. Fine. Then let my hostility be great. I just have a question for your White Horse Temple. The Sky Demon Emperor hand him over a knot. If not, then await the descent of the ancient giants and rivers of blood will flow. The monks' hearts trembled. They exchanged glances, weighing the pros and cons. The Dharma seal Vajra still frowned. Master Jiang, if you had come a little earlier, I could have handed him over to you. But you've also heard what the host said. The Sky Demon Emperor has already joined. Jang Fan coldly interrupted him. So what if he joined the White Horse Temple? Is the White Horse Temple the Western Heaven Buddha Court or the Xianxia Jade Palace? Joining the White Horse Temple turns you into a god or Buddha. He can't be killed. The Dharma seal Vajra was left silent by the question because no one had ever looked down on the White Horse Temple so before. Jang Fan shook his head, saying, I don't want to say any more useless words to you. I'll give you 3 breaths to decide. 1, 2, 3. As soon as he finished speaking, Puguang's ears twitched slightly, and he looked back in surprise at the sacred hall deep within the White Horse Temple. After a brief contemplation, he chanted a Buddhist phrase. Amitabha, the Sky Demon Emperor hasn't severed all ties and has no affinity with my Buddha. Dharma seal, bring him out. The Dharma seal Vajra hesitated for a moment before saying, Yes, host. He also glanced deeply into the hall deep within the White Horse Temple. His eyes showed confusion. The Bodhisattva actually compromised. He couldn't understand. But he still carried out the Bodhisattva's instruction to the host, bringing out the Sky Demon Emperor. Shannaming, an old friend, is here to see you. Shannaming monk looked at Jang Fan before him, smiling gently. Master Jiang, hope you have been well. He seemed to have forgotten the grievances between them, smiling away their resentment. Jang Fan pointed his sword at his neck, coldly saying, Dharma seal Vajra, restore him to his original appearance. Don't tell me it's impossible. No one can transform into another person in a short time, unless there is a spell suppressing his nature. The Dharma seal Vajra glanced at the host, who nodded, and then he reluctantly waved his sleeve. A faint, holy Buddha light was drawn out from Shannaming monk's chest. Quickly, Shannaming monk shook his head, and the sharpness of his once calm eyes returned. He questioned, Dharmasil Vajra, what are you up to? Weren't you going to guide me into Buddhism? Behind him came a voice as cold as if from hell. You entered Buddhism, but I brought you back. Emperor suddenly turned around, staring at the boy in black before him, utterly shocked. Jang Fan, you actually chased me to the White Horse Temple. He instinctively shrank back, a flicker of fear welling up in his heart. Then he regained his composure and sneered. You're truly fearless, daring to come to the White Horse Temple. Heaven has no path, yet you insist on taking it. Hell has no gate, yet you insist on barging in. He retreated beside the Dharmasil Vajra, snarling, Dharmasil Vajra, since he has come calling, why not oblige him? The last person to demand a disciple from the White Horse Temple has vanished without a trace. Now with Jang Fan storming the White Horse Temple to kill, how can the temple maintain its dignity? Sky Demon Emperor, your vendetta remains unresolved, and you are not destined for Buddhism. Return to the secular world. The Dharmasil Vajra carelessly waved his sleeve, and the scars freshly marked on the Sky Demon Emperor's head were all wiped away. The blue Buddhist robes were also stripped off him. He might be the most smoothly secularized monk in the history of the White Horse Temple. What? The ferocity on the Sky Demon Emperor's face froze suddenly. He exclaimed in surprise, Dharmasil Vajra, what are you doing? You want me to return to secular life. And right in front of Jang Fan, are you trying to get me killed? Quick, let me join Buddhism. In his current state, how could he dare be enemies with Jang Fan? He only wished to hide within the White Horse Temple. Without changing his expression, Dharmasil Vajra said calmly, Buddha saves those with destiny. Sky Demon Emperor, resolve your grievances with Master Jiang, and if you survive, this poor monk will guide you again. It won't be too late. This is also a test from the Buddha for you. Test my foot. The Sky Demon Emperor was furious, roaring, I want to see the abbot. Dharmasil Vajra promised to bring me into Buddhism. Now he's going back on his word. For a monk to break a promise, he should descend to the 9th layer of hell. Master Pugang clasped his hands together serenely and said, expelling you from Buddhism is precisely the intent of this abbot. What? The abbot wants to expel him from Buddhism. Why? The White Horse Temple, the foremost power in Taekang state, cannot even protect him. The opponent is merely a minor core formation realm. Suddenly, he noticed the connecting sky-black pillar. His pupils shrank suddenly. Connecting sky-black pillar. He looked again at Jang Fan standing beside the connecting sky-black pillar and suddenly understood. Jang Fan had mysteriously transported the connecting sky-black pillar to the White Horse Temple. No matter how domineering, the White Horse Temple would not risk the impending arrival of the ancient giant for him, right? Jang Fan, are you determined to put me to death? The Sky Demon Emperor was desperate and furious, roaring, why are you so ruthless at such a young age? You don't even leave a way out for anyone. Jang Fan's chest brimmed with killing intent, spreading like substance, his voice chilling. Did you leave any way out for the 158 people of the LV Ying tribe? Did you leave Ling Shu a way out? Did you leave a way out for the human clan far away at the boundary mountain? You did not, so on what grounds do you now seek a way out? There's no need to say more. In this world, no one can protect you. I will bring your head back to honor Ling Shu. Boom, his eyes suddenly turned cold as he raised his fists and struck out. The deity statue's 8 arms thrust forward simultaneously. The human emperor statue brandished the emperor's sword. The dual icons emerged together. The Sky Demon Emperor, knowing there was no retreat, found that Jang Fan had come alone. His eyes flickered with a survival instinct, and he roared ferociously, You alone can't kill me? Kill! He shouted fiercely, launching into battle with the unique powerhouse physique of the Demon Emperor, clashing with the attacking dual icons. Boom and crash, 8 golden resplendent strikes, along with the peerlessly sharp shadow of the Emperor's sword, wove an earth-shattering might. The indomitable battle intent of the Sky Demon Emperor, fighting to the death, unleashed unparalleled strength. The collision between them unleashed a shockwave that alarmed even the one-orifice nascent soul and 9th grade Vajras present. Shick. The Sky Demon Emperor was repeatedly pushed back, a deep shock flooding his face. Your physique has also reached the nascent soul realm's level. And at the peak of one-orifice nascent soul. How is this possible? One day ago, Jang Fan's body couldn't withstand his close-range strike. Now he could confront him without using any magical treasures. Surprised! Jang Fan's eyes glistened with murderous intent, prepared just for you. With those words, he charged again, launching a brutal attack. The Sky Demon Emperor, both shocked and furious, fought back with powerful shockwaves. demolishing numerous courtyards and breaking many temple halls along the way. The remaining might swept across all directions. Wei Wuji was caught by the residual force of the Emperor's sword, forced to use nascent soul power to fend it off. He looked at Jang Fan in disbelief. He recognized him. This boy before him was Jang Fan, a Tianji Pavilion disciple at the East Sea not long ago. Back then, he was merely a junior at the Jiden 8th layer. He had to call him Wei Wuji Sr. Now Jang Fan was fighting fiercely against the Sky Demon Emperor, even gaining the upper hand. Wei Wuji couldn't be sure that even if he fought in person, he'd perform better than the Sky Demon Emperor. This boy's transformation was simply earth-shattering. Qi Yin Master was equally shocked. He has such strength. Evidently, Qi Yin Master also recognized him. He never expected that Jang Fan would now be so formidable, able to fight nascent soul while in core formation. Thinking back to the separation in the North Sea, when his disciple Yu Peiyuan asked him to take Jang Fan as a disciple, he was in a hurry to return and refused. Now he couldn't help but feel bitter. The meat delivered to his mouth he actually spat out. He slapped his thigh in regret. Bam! A loud crash. The Sky Demon Emperor was blasted away, a gaping bloody cavity punched through his abdomen. His white inner garments soaked in red, as if soaked in blood. He was stricken with shock and rage because he was no longer a match for Jang Fan. He was really going to die at Jang Fan's hands. He was unwilling. The little man of the Little People clan whom he could kill with a flick, slept with his most favored, unattainable woman, toppled his supreme status among the demons, and now wanted to kill him. It's not fair. This is not fair. Suddenly, he noticed the golden cloud spirit boat by the sea and saw concubine Xianxia on it. An intense ferocity emerged on his face. If he must die, then he'll pull concubine Xianxia down with him, making Jang Fan grieve in pain. Taking advantage of being blasted away, he leveraged this to swoop towards concubine Xianxia, shouting angrily, "You vile woman! It's all because of you. If you hadn't restored Jang Fan's golden core, how would I end up like this?" Concubine Xianxia watched his ferocious face, calmly taking out a black jar. Upon opening it, a terrifying purple flame surged forth. It was the violet flame Jang Fan exchanged from the great Yin sect's Iron Man with Gu Zinner. Sky Demon Emperor's desperate move against concubine Xianxia was anticipated by Jang Fan long ago. He had already prepared defensive measures for concubine Xianxia in advance. Sure enough, it happened as expected. The Sky Demon Emperor immediately sensed the peril of the violet flame, hastily halting his advance. And at that moment, suddenly it grew dark above his head. Jang Fan, stepping on the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, pressed his palm sealed onto the mountain. 5 magnetic divine light. Whoosh. A 6 Zhang divine light spread out, instantly sealing all the Sky Demon Emperor's power. He immediately fell from the sky, then was heavily pinned under the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Ah! The intense suppression caused the Sky Demon Emperor to spew a mouthful of blood foam. He struggled to get up, slowly lifting the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, roaring, "Get off me! Undying blade!" An icy voice resonated. A terrifying 2,000 Zhang thunderbolt descended. Bai Yu didn't dare block it with his flesh, let alone the Sky Demon Emperor. Demon Emperor was too late to resist the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. How could he have any strength left to deal with the undying blade? He was immediately struck directly. Already injured, he was hit by the undying blade, causing all his bones to shatter, his entire body scorched, combined with the suppression of the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Finally, unable to bear the weight, he collapsed to the ground, heavily pressed by the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Jang Fan retracted the 5 magnetic divine light. He carried the purple sword and walked forward, overlooking the struggling Sky Demon Emperor, coldly saying, "Still trying to do evil on the verge of death." Without the slightest hesitation, he raised the purple sword, gripped the hilt with both hands, and channeled the power of his golden body's physique to fiercely slash at the Sky Demon Emperor's neck. The Sky Demon Emperor's pupils contracted sharply, screaming, "Stop! I was wrong, Jang Fan!" He extended both hands, attempting to block the sword. But his arms were mercilessly severed like tofu, and the sword's edge did not pause, cutting off his head. Now, having obtained the nascent soul body, wielding the purple sword to kill someone in the nascent soul realm was much easier. Whoosh! A translucent soul body emerged from his neck. It was the Sky Demon Emperor. He glared at Jang Fan with malice, shouting, "Just you wait. I'll make you taste regret." The deep-seated resentment sent chills through the heart. It was easy to imagine what kind of revenge he would enact if he possessed someone and reborn. The peaceful continent, Jang Fan's green cloud sect, heavenly mechanism pavilion, demon race, and even innocent people related to him would be harmed by him. Jang Fan's expression was indifferent. Not many souls can escape from my grasp. And you're not among them. With a pre-prepared soul-suppressing Buddha beads, he immediately threw it, enveloping the sky demon emperor. What is this? Let go of me, no, ah. No, in his fierce struggle, the soul-suppressing Buddha beads twisted his soul body into a spiral. Jang Fan raised his hand and grabbed the soul-suppressing Buddha beads along with the sky demon emperor's soul back. Then he glanced at the monks of the White Horse Temple. As expected, several high monks showed a thoughtful expression upon seeing the soul-suppressing Buddha beads. Among them was the Dharma seal Vajra. He showed a hint of puzzlement and said, "Master Jiang, may I take a look at these Buddha beads?" Jang Fan was not surprised by their expressions. Because whether it was the Green Crane Masters or the remnant soul of Yan Daeon, they were both shocked by the soul-suppressing Buddha beads before they died. And both had spoken of its origin, the soul-suppressing Buddha beads lost by the White Horse Temple 1,000 years ago. Let's talk about it later. Jang Fan did not completely refuse. He then looked at the soul body of the Sky Demon Emperor in his hand, with cold starlight in his eyes. Long ago I was just short of a nascent soul, and later I encountered several but could never obtain one. I was quite regretful for a time, but now I understand there was a destined soul waiting for me. And that soul is you, Sky Demon Emperor. He turned his back on everyone, took out the life-changing jade disc. The 3 soul-holding holes, 2 emitted red light with only 1 still dim. Jang Fan, what are you going to do? The Sky Demon Emperor realized something terrible, shouting in shock and anger. Jang Fan held down the Sky Demon Emperor's soul, pushing it towards the last hole. Coldly saying, "With your soul I'll achieve my nascent soul path." He pressed hard. The hole immediately began to absorb his soul. The Sky Demon Emperor let out an earth-shaking roar. "No! You slept with my woman, destroyed my plans for domination, and now you want to step on my soul to ascend to the nascent soul realm. No way." At that moment, the Sky Demon Emperor would rather explode to death than let Jang Fan have his way. Unfortunately, he no longer had the opportunity. With a whoosh, amidst his remaining roars of anger, the soul was entirely absorbed by the life-changing jade disc. The dim hole immediately emitted a dazzling blood-red light. The 3 souls returned to their place. The path to Jang Fan's nascent soul was finally revealed, slaying Kankyang, proving nascent soul. It was the end of the old and the beginning of the new. However, there was a more important matter at hand: how to deal with the White Horse Temple. He could be fearless, but he had to consider concubine Xianxia who came with him, and the heavenly mechanism pavilion preparing to migrate to Teacup state. Dharma seal Vajra Abbot, monks do not lie. I want to ask you a question, and I hope you will answer me truthfully. Jang Fan pointed at the connecting sky-black pillar. If I take the connecting sky-black pillar, will you let me go? An eerie silence hung over the White Horse Temple. The demon suppression guardian glared coldly at him, as if to say, "You think you can leave?" Clearly, they were not going to let Jang Fan go. Absolutely not. This was not unexpected for Jang Fan. He had forced the White Horse Temple to publicly expel a novice monk from the monastery, allowing him to take his revenge in public. For the domineering White Horse Temple, how could they possibly tolerate this? Once Jang Fan took away the connecting sky-black pillar and reached a place where he would no longer threaten the White Horse Temple, that would be the time for them to strike. If today's situation could not be properly handled, he would not be able to return to the continent alive. It would also sow the seeds of hidden dangers for the development of the heavenly mechanism pavilion in Teacup state. Fortunately, he was not without preparations. This time, coming to hunt the Sky Demon Emperor was, to be frank, not a rational decision, but he had considered an escape path. Since that's the case, let's make a deal. No, you Buddhists don't make deals. Let's call it forming a connection instead. He shook the soul-suppressing Buddha beads in his hand, saying, "You are not mistaken. This is indeed the soul-suppressing Buddha beads lost by your White Horse Temple 1,000 years ago." What? The Dharma seal Vajra's eyes filled with golden light. The assembly of high monks was collectively shaken. Even Master Pugang descended, clasped his hands in front of Jang Fan. "Master Jiang, may I ask, where did you obtain these Buddha beads?" Such a vast force as the White Horse Temple naturally wouldn't be fixated merely on a spiritual artifact-level Buddha beads. What they desired was the person who carried these beads away. More precisely, it was the Bodhi tree that this person took. And this was the escape route Jang Fan left for himself, for Xianxia, and for the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. So we have something to discuss then. Jang Fan put away the soul-suppressing Buddha beads, saying calmly. Master Pugang pondered for a moment, saying, if we can find the owner of the Buddha beads, then Master Jiang will be the great benefactor of our White Horse Temple. The implication being, they could overlook what happened today as if it never transpired. Jang Fan chuckled lightly. I've seen the owner of the beads. He passed away beneath a Bodhi tree. Master Pugwang's face changed slightly, hastily interrupting. Master Jiang, please don't say more. But it was too late. Qi Yin Master's face changed. Bodhi tree? This could be a first-grade Vajra, crucial to proving the Bodhisattva. The current Bodhisattva of the White Horse Temple found a Bodhi tree in the heavenly state, meditated beneath it, and thus achieved the Bodhisattva fruit position. If the White Horse Temple finds another one within 10 years, wouldn't there be another Bodhisattva? With 2 Bodhisattvas in the sect, Pugang state would be ruled by the White Horse Temple. Where would we find a place for ourselves then? He was extremely anxious. Wei Wuji and the others also sensed great danger, their expressions frantic. Jang Fan was secretly astounded. It turns out the Bodhi tree is so important to Buddhism. He had only heard from the Six-Path Masters and the Green Crane Masters that the Bodhi tree is the tree of wisdom in Buddhism, the divine tree of the Buddhist path. But he hadn't expected that the Bodhi tree would have such heaven-defying power. No wonder the Six-Path Masters once warned Jang Fan never to let the White Horse Temple know he had the Bodhi tree. Otherwise, he wouldn't escape the attention of the White Horse Temple. If Jang Fan were in the White Horse Temple's position, he would probably be even more fixated on the Bodhi tree. On the other hand, with clues about the Bodhi tree, he had stronger leverage for negotiation. At this moment, Master Pugang listened to the discussions of the foreign guests, furrowing his brows tightly. If the existence of the Bodhi tree were to spread, it would be a huge problem. Qi Yin Master was also startled, as if realizing something, and respectfully cupped his hands. Now that the matter here is concluded, I shall take my leave. He immediately withdrew and left. Wei Wuji and others also glanced around, then took their leave one after another. Before leaving, they all cast a deep glance at Jang Fan. Clearly, they intended to involve themselves in the matter of the Bodhi tree. Whether to prevent the White Horse Temple from finding the Bodhi tree, or to find it before Buddhism and demand a magical treasure, Jang Fan was an unavoidable figure. They might resort to coercion or enticements to find out the location of the Bodhi tree. Jang Fan smiled faintly. Since he dared to speak out, he naturally wasn't afraid of others coveting it. At worst, he'd bring out the Bodhi tree and let them fight over it. However, the actions of the White Horse Temple left Jang Fan deeply shocked. Master Pugang turned around and deeply bowed to the Grand Temple within White Horse Temple. Bodhisattva, we seek your intervention. A gentle and harmonious brilliance emanated from that mysterious Grand Temple. A magnetic, slow, warm, and melodious voice gradually echoed out. The Buddha said, past events become empty, akin to a dream. The hoarse voice, like clear running water, flowed through the heart, washing away worries and dispelling troubles. Qi Yin Master's expression changed, exclaiming, Bodhisattva, you mustn't. In the next moment, he found himself standing at the doorway with a slightly dazed look. How did I end up at the door? Wei Wuji and the other nascent soul realm foreign guests were equally bewildered. Jang Fan was horrified. He understood what had just happened. With just a single utterance from the Bodhisattva, a segment of memories from the guests present had been erased. This included the most important memory of the Bodhi tree. No, it wasn't just the guests. Aside from Master Pugang, all the senior monks of the White Horse Temple had forgotten as well, including Dharmasil Vajra. He lightly furrowed his brows, casting a significant glance at Jang Fan and then at the Grand Temple deep within the temple grounds. Clearly, he realized a portion of his memory had been erased by the Bodhisattva. But what memory would require the personal intervention of the Bodhisattva to erase? Master Pugang smiled and looked at Jang Fan, saying, Master Jiang, karmic connections are not for public transmission. Please forgive us. Jang Fan felt an inexplicable chill. The methods of this Bodhisattva were truly unsettling. To forcibly erase someone's memories, couldn't they also erase his? Thinking of this, he became extremely vigilant, casting a deep glance at that towering Grand Temple and said, Master, just say if you want the clues about that person. Master Pugang didn't reply but smiled at Qi Yin Master and the others. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for embarrassing you. Please move to the tea room and have some tea and rest. This was a polite way of asking them to leave, who would want to stay at White Horse Temple. They all took their leave and departed. Only a few, like Qi Yin Master, realized they might have had their memories erased. They looked at Jang Fan with some confusion and then left. After they were gone, Master Pugang smiled and said, "Master Jiang, please tell us about the whereabouts of that disciple." Disciple? Jang Fan didn't believe that the recluse high monk in the Nine Dynasty ancient capital of the demon race was from the White Horse Temple. If it were true, why wouldn't he return to the White Horse Temple and instead establish a hidden underground meditation courtyard? Of course, Jang Fan couldn't just directly tell them. He had to question the trustworthiness of White Horse Temple. It said that Buddhists do not lie. Yet, the Sky Demon Emperor received a promise from Dharma Seal Vajra, joined Buddhism, and was still driven out. He furiously demanded an explanation, and Dharma Seal Vajra simply answered that the Buddha was testing him. Anyway, the people of White Horse Temple can always provide irrefutable reasons. Their promises cannot be trusted. The initiative must be grasped in his own hands. Jang Fan said, "Master, you haven't heard all my conditions. Since it's about forming a connection, it cannot be just one-sided where I give and your temple gives nothing in return, right?" Master Pugang smiled. "Master Jiang, please speak," Jang Fan said. "The first condition is that the connecting sky black pillar remains at your White Horse Temple, and I will take it in 3 months. This is to ensure that after I take the connecting sky black pillar, you won't make a move to kill me." The smile on Master Pugwang's face diminished significantly. The monks exchanged glances, their expressions changing slightly. Who would dare stay with the connecting sky black pillar? Who knows when the ancient giants might come down along with it? The demon suppression guardian angrily shouted, "Brat, you're not keeping your word. We've done as you wished and expelled the Sky Demon Emperor, yet you're not honoring your promise." Jang Fan said, "I never promised that I would immediately remove the connecting sky black pillar, so it doesn't count as a breach. Master, consider your options." Master Pugang pondered for a long time and slowly said, "Okay, let it stay here temporarily. But the deadline is only 3 months. Since Jang Fan had ties, if he didn't return after 3 months, White Horse Temple could pay him a visit and demand answers. They weren't worried about Jang Fan playing tricks. "Tell me your second condition." Jang Fan's eyes gleamed slightly as he said, "The second condition is that I won't give you all the clues about the person right now, only a part of it. I'll provide a bit each month, but I guarantee you'll find that person within a year." The smile on Master Pugwang's face completely disappeared, and he resolutely said, "The second condition is not within my authority to decide, and I believe the Bodhisattva wouldn't agree either. The Bodhi tree is too important to the White Horse Temple to allow for any risk. If Jang Fan were to die unexpectedly or disappear within the next year, the clues would be lost, wouldn't they?" Jang Fan calmly said, "You can only agree. If you intend to use force, you must interrogate me or convert me to extract the information. My people will spread the news, and who knows if it will be destroyed or fall into someone else's hands." Master Pugang remained expressionless. He indeed had thoughts of forcibly taking Jang Fan. After converting him, he would obediently divulge information about the Bodhi tree. It's not impossible that the Bodhi tree might even be with this person. However, what if he truly had a contingency plan? Is it safer to wait a long year or take some risks and act now? He looked at the grand temple behind him. Since it concerned the Bodhi tree, only the Bodhisattva could make the decision. The great hall was silent for a long time. Only then did Master Pugang receive the Buddha's decree, nodding, "The Bodhisattva has agreed. Please, Master Jiang, make sure to keep your promise." Jang Fan breathed a sigh of relief. The negotiation was finally over. At least it could delay for a year, ensuring the White Horse Temple would not hold enmity towards the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. As for what happens after a year, one could only take it one step at a time. In the context of the arrival of the ancient giants, one could expect many major transformations. Who knows what shape Taikang's state would take by then, and maybe the White Horse Temple would no longer concern itself with this grudge. "All right, let me tell you the first clue. I found it on the continent." Master Pugwang's smile slightly stiffened. The high monks and demon suppression guardian showed expressions of speechlessness. Wasn't this just nonsense? Since you come from the continent, this person surely sat into motion on the continent. Is this considered a clue? However, considering this was merely the first exchange of clues, Master Pugang tolerated it. Thank you, Master Jiang. Jang Fan cupped his hands in salute. I've troubled the temple today, farewell. Just as he was about to leave, Master Pugang said, Hold on. Jang Fan's heart tightened. What, are they going to change their mind? Master Pugang took a palm-sized golden Buddha out of his sleeve. Buddha light flowed over it, emitting a faint sacred radiance. Upon seeing it, everyone, including the Dharma seal Vajra, showed strands of surprise. Master Jiang, this is a golden Buddha I carry with me, imbued with a trace of my Buddha rhythm. When encountering danger unmatchable, you may take it out. Anyone who recognizes the item may give me some face. Those who do not, the Buddha rhythm will help you ward off calamity. Jang Fan was slightly surprised. Was there still such things to deliver? He had seen the wooden-carved golden Buddha of the Sky Demon Emperor, truly treacherous and difficult. It could block enemy attacks, even turn decay into miracle healing. Surely, the golden Buddha of the Master at present was stronger than a wooden Buddha statue of Dharma seal Vajra. Master Pugang handed over the golden Buddha. Attacks less powerful than my strength can be blocked, or if you suffer a fatal wound, it can save your life. However, it can only be used 3 times. Use cautiously, Master Jiang. Can it preserve life? Jang Fan nodded slightly. Thank you, Master. Already understood in his heart why Master Pugang was giving such a precious defensive magical treasure. He was afraid Jang Fan would be slain and no one would remove the connecting sky-black pillar. The White Horse Temple had long been domineering, having offended numerous forces. They dared not seek revenge against the White Horse Temple, but they could murder Jang Fan so that the connecting sky-black pillar remained forever in the White Horse Temple. Jang Fan said, I hope your enemies of the White Horse Temple aren't too many. Otherwise, even 10 golden Buddhas won't suffice. The many high monks showed awkward expressions. The White Horse Temple did indeed have many enemies. Master Pugang chuckled. As long as today's matter isn't leaked, who would trouble Master Jiang? True. Their negotiation was known only to Jang Fan and those of the White Horse Temple. Outsiders only presumed Jang Fan left the connecting sky-black pillar forever at the White Horse Temple, rejoicing at misfortune. Unless a whim struck their minds, who would consider troubling Jang Fan? All right, then I bid farewell. In a month, seek me in the territory of the continent's demon race for the second piece of information. Don't come early, I don't want to be disturbed. He turned and left the White Horse Temple. Concubine Xianxia stood at the bow of the spirit boat, smiling charmingly, negotiated with the White Horse Temple. Jang Fan nodded. For a year. We don't need to worry about the White Horse Temple's reprisals. Concubine Xianxia glanced at the connecting sky-black pillar left at the White Horse Temple, somewhat surprised at how Jang Fan managed to retreat unscathed, and made the White Horse Temple willingly let the connecting sky-black pillar remain. But the focus shouldn't be on this now. It's Jang Fan himself. Sky Demon Emperor was dead, Ling Shu's vengeance was completed. Jang Fan, however, felt even more sorrowful. He had lost his goal. Concubine Xianxia stepped forward, resting her arm on his, and said softly, Let's go back, you still have a task to complete. Jang Fan looked at her, puzzled. Concubine Xianxia said, Didn't you promise to accompany Ling Shu in the frontier for a month? This promise you should fulfill. Don't let her be there alone. Jang Fan's nose tingled. He nodded. Yes, let's go back. The two sailed away on the spirit boat. Just as they were about to leave the coast, Jang Fan sensed something and looked overhead. The sky rippled briefly, and Qi Yin Master's figure appeared from the invisibility state. Even the soul has reached the one-orifice nascent soul realm. Qi Yin Master showed strands of surprise. Physique, soul, both attained. Even the power is so strong it's somewhat incomprehensible to me. Though you are not technically nascent soul, yet you are indeed nascent soul. Jang Fan saluted. Senior Qi Yin, do you have instructions? This person bore no malice, otherwise action would have already been taken. Qi Yin Master cast a worried glance back at the distant White Horse Temple. Are you returning to the continent like this? Not going to take a look at the heavenly ascending ancient road? Jang Fan had no enthusiasm, slightly shook his head. That's an opportunity of your Taikang state, not welcoming outsiders. And I have matters unable to spare myself. Qi Yin Master frowned. Not going is regrettable indeed. Some saw timeless knowledge at the end of the ancient road. Others saw a pill furnace taller than the sky, even saw a venerate long dead revived. All of us in the nascent soul realm are eager to visit, but alas, the path is only open to those in the core formation realm. With your prowess, surely you could advance faster than peers. Upon hearing of timeless knowledge and pill furnace, Jang Fan felt unimpressed. But hearing of the dead venerate reviving made his eyes brighten briefly, then quickly dim again. How could the world offer resurrection? Presumably, it's some misunderstanding. Beside him, concubine Xianxia shook his arm, said, Jiang, before obtaining the deceiving God pearl, did you believe tribulation could be paused? Everything is seen to be believed. How would you know without trying? What if there really was a method for resurrection? Wouldn't you regret missing it? Jang Fan's eyes brightened again, although knowing there was a good chance it would be a joyous disappointment. But regardless, he should check it out. Revived, he said, saluting. Senior Qi Yin, my wife and I are children of the continent. It's not easy to go up, right? Seeing Jang Fan's interest ignite, Qi Yin Master smiled. What's difficult about that? This old man recommending you both up would suffice. I have this bit of face. Additionally, I'd hope you can find my disciples Yu Peiyuan and Wei Kaoran on the heavenly ascending ancient road. Guide them somewhat. Jang Fan quickly replied, I can't say Wei brother, he might not appreciate my help. But senior sister Yu, if I can aid her, I will do my utmost. Qi Yin Master nodded with a smile. Good. Follow me then. Jang Fan's willingness to truly help one made it worth the slight cost he paid in recommending them both up. White Horse Temple, the deepest towering great hall. Master Pugang stood respectfully in front of the hall door. Pugang follows the Buddha's decree, dispatching monks immediately to Teacup State to seek the ancient temple. After a pause, Master Pugang added, Bodhisattva, why didn't you erase Jang Fan's memory together? In his view, Jang Fan had only opened his mouth wide due to knowing the value of the Bodhi tree, requesting exorbitantly. If the Bodhisattva had also erased his memory, the matter would not have become so passive and troublesome. The great hall was silent for a moment before a magnetic voice was heard. Attempted failed. Master Pugang's aged eyes gradually widened, pupils contracted bit by bit. As it turned out, the memory-erasing Buddhist path divine skill that the Bodhisattva used was targeting everyone except Master Pugang, including Jang Fan. Yet, Jang Fan's memory was not erased. He still remembered everything that had happened. Master Pugang's Buddhist mind, which had been calm for so many years, was stirred into waves. Even he could not resist the Bodhisattva's Buddhist law of memory erasure. Yet Jang Fan could. He finally understood why the Bodhisattva agreed to Jang Fan's unreasonable demand for clues in installments. Because the Bodhisattva had concerns about Jang Fan. Tianyuan Ancient City, Central Area. Just how big is Teacup State? Jang Fan had been traveling with Qi Yin Master for a full 5 days. The other party was a second-stage nascent soul, capable of traversing the continent in less than half a day's time. Yet in Teacup State, 5 days was only enough to reach its central area from the coast. To cross Teacup State, wouldn't it take more than 10 days? Qi Yin Master said, it depends on what you're comparing it to. Compared to your continent is a grape, while Teacup State is a watermelon. Jang Fan didn't know whether to say the continent was too small or Teacup State was too vast. What's the name of our continent? Jang Fan asked again. He had heard many people from regions outside refer to the place they came from as the continent, never giving it a specific name. It was always just continent or continent. Only the hell beast once said their place was an island. Qi Yin Master shook his head and said, your place is simply called the continent. What place is called continent? Isn't this absurd? Jang Fan asked, puzzled. Qi Yin Master chuckled. Indeed, you really are just called the continent. I heard that long ago you guys called it Lingzhu Island. Later, a mysterious person settled on your island and said Lingzhu Island sounded too provincial. She disliked it and renamed it Continent, saying it sounded more comfortable. Afterward, all the literature in Teacup State erased the name Lingzhu Island overnight and changed it to Continent, and that name has continued to this day. Huh. Jang Fan exchanged a glance with concubine Xianxia, as if listening to a story. Is there really someone in the world so willful and unbelievably powerful? Teacup State changed their records overnight because of her one word. What kind of a powerful figure must she be to have such influence? Of course, that's just what I've heard, a story from 1,000 years ago, unverifiable whether true or false. But your island is indeed called the continent, that's for sure. This. All right, Jang Fan looked ahead through the cloud layers at gigantic floating stone stairways, stretching one after another, disappearing into the depths of the sky. Each stone step was about 10,000 zhang long, like an ancient city that covered the sky and sun. All suspended in midair, the scene was extraordinarily magnificent. So big, Jang Fan was deeply moved. He had imagined merely ordinary ancient stairways extending into the depths of the sky, but what was in front of him? Qi Yin Master's eyes also showed deep shock and a great regret for not being able to explore it personally. The stairways you see are less than 1% of the complete structure. According to those who have ascended, the stairway has a total of 10,000 steps, and the full length is longer than your entire continent from north to south. Jang Fan's pupils shrank, his eyes full of astonishment. Where did these things come from? So many giant stairways, surely the people of Pugang State couldn't have missed them. Qi Yin Master shook his head. I don't know. It appeared with a mist that swept across Pugang State and was left behind once the mist disappeared, this long heavenly ascending ancient road. A mist that enveloped all of Pugang State. How large must that mist have been? Jang Fan showed a thoughtful expression. This stairway appeared very mysteriously. His eyes flashed as he said, Elder, did you say someone has gone up? Qi Yin Master hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Yes, that's right. It was a venerate. After returning, she instructed that the opportunity should be left to disciples below the nascent soul, and that stronger individuals should not participate. A venerate? That is a divinity transformation realm-level existence. If even she did not see any danger, the matter should not be very problematic. As the two conversed, they arrived at the first layer of the stairway. A number of nascent soul experts were hovering in the air here, all nascent soul-level figures from various divine sects. Seeing Qi Yin Master bringing along a young man and woman, they couldn't help but be surprised. Qi Yin, why are you just getting here? The heavenly ascending ancient road started 7 days ago. Is it not too late to send disciples up now? Perhaps those listed for conversion by the Dharma seal Vajra have already reached the top. Qi Yin Master merely smiled without saying more. He approached a young man in a blue long robe, whose expression was somewhat stern. Chen Jing Sr. Even Qi Yin Master, a second-stage nascent soul, had to reverse and address the young man before him as senior. The others around showed a hint of respect when looking at the young Chen Jing Master. Chen Jing Master, not only a young 4 apertures nascent soul and a renowned expert, but also a disciple under True Word Venerable. This time, he was ordered by his master to guard the heavenly ascending ancient road, only allowing disciples to enter, completely banning nascent soul experts from stepping in. Chen Jing Master held a list, glanced at Qi Yin Master, then flipped through the list in his hand, saying, Aren't your disciples Yu Peiyuan and Wei Keioran already up? Who are these? According to the rules, each elder is limited to 2 disciples. Qi Yin Master's quota was already used up. Qi Yin Master smiled apologetically. These 2 are my juniors. They also want to see the heavenly ascending ancient road. Could I trouble Chen Jing Master for a favor? Visit our heaven and sea pavilion another day. We are developing a new kind of spirit boat that can travel on land as well. At that time, perhaps Chen Jing Master could give us some guidance. The implication being to offer something in return. Chen Jing Master was somewhat tempted but also quite helpless, transmitting a message. You are late. My master came by yesterday and reprimanded me. I really don't dare let anyone go up casually anymore. Qi Yin Master looked embarrassed. He dared to promise to send Jang Fan and others up because he had some connections with Chen Jing Master. Giving more benefits would not have been a big problem. Who knew this young man had been too greedy before, leading to a scolding by True Word Venerable, making him afraid to let more people up recklessly. This was troublesome. He awkwardly looked at Jang Fan, having brought them from afar, and now they could not go up. Jang Fan thought for a moment and took out Bai Xin's token, asking, Can this senior help us? Upon seeing the token, Chen Jing Master was slightly surprised. You are Bai Xin's Sky Watcher. I heard Bai Xin mention that she gave the token to a disciple of the Tianji Pavilion on the continent. That person is you? Jang Fan replied. Indeed, the junior is Jang Fan. Chen Jing Master slowly nodded. All right, since you are connected to Bai Xin, letting you up should not bring any comment from my master. Oh, it seems Bai Xin has a significant face value, even the Venerable wouldn't mind. Jang Fan cupped his fists. Thank you, senior. The 2 approached the stairs, ready to go up. Chen Jing Master hesitated slightly, asking, Since you are a disciple of the Tianji Pavilion, do you know about the 9th sect? Jang Fan was slightly startled. Not knowing why Chen Jing Master asked this, he replied, Reporting to senior, the junior belongs to the 9th sect. Chen Jing Master nodded and asked, From which sect are you? Jang Fan replied, The Green Cloud sect. Chen Jing Master's gaze trembled sharply. He reassessed Jang Fan, his expression changed from before. With deep surprise and fleeting joy, he seemed to want to ask something. But the words stopped short. He waved his hand. Go, Jang Fan looked puzzled. It was clear that Chen Jing Master had something unspoken. Nodding, he and concubine Xianxia stepped onto the stairs hand in hand. Qi Yin Master was also greatly surprised to hear Jang Fan came from the Green Cloud Sect, said, Senior, are you also from the Green Cloud Sect? Why didn't you reveal your identity just now? He had heard that Chen Jing Master came from the Green Cloud Sect and had reached his current status by relying on his strong aptitude in Teacup state. Since they were from the same sect, why didn't Chen Jing Master acknowledge him? Chen Jing Master watched Jang Fan's back, shook his head slightly, and said, Let it be, he is already 9th layer perfection of core formation, exactly lacking the chance for the nascent soul. If he knew I was once his fellow disciple, what should I do if he thickens his face to seek a chance from me? Should I give, seek my master's bestowal, or not give, and he would think me heartless? So, the less trouble the better. Pretending not to know him is best. He returns to the continent, serving as a vice pavilion master at the Tianji Pavilion is quite good. Better to be the head of a chicken than the tail of a phoenix. Yin Master understood the implication of Chen Jing's words. He feared being entangled by his fellow disciples from the Green Cloud Sect. Now that he had become affluent, he no longer wished to be associated with the impoverished Green Cloud Sect, which was only natural. What a pity, Qi Yin Master sighed lightly and said, This child is actually very outstanding. If someone is willing to give him a hand, he can definitely establish himself in Teacup state. Recalling Jang Fan's feat of killing a nascent soul with core formation, he was still deeply shocked. Teacup state hasn't been without prodigies who killed nascent souls with demon cores. But the last one was 10 years ago. That person is now a powerful figure with a 9-aperture nascent soul in Teacup, currently seeking enlightenment to break through to divinity transformation. Outstanding, Chen Jing shook his head. What kind of outstanding talents can come from such a barren place on the continent? Reaching the 9th layer of core formation perfection is likely the end of his career. Qi Yin Master smiled but did not continue speaking. It was evident that Chen Jing did not wish to interact with Jang Fan. Continuing the conversation would only displease him. The battle in front of the White Horse Temple would soon spread, and then he would naturally realize how extraordinary his junior brother was. Far stronger than he was back in the day, on the heavenly ascending ancient road. Jang Fan carried concubine Xianxia with his sword control technique, leaping into the air above the first step of the stone staircase. Looking down, the 10,000-foot stone step was covered in countless engravings, exuding an ancient and desolate aura. At this moment, a few disciples at the 7th level of core formation were paused on the stone steps, fiercely attacking the air. Jiang, the stone steps seemed to trap people into an illusion realm, concubine Xianxia speculated. Jang Fan nodded. For the environment around them was distorting. They were clearly in the sky. Yet the surroundings had turned into a brightly lit city under the night sky. The people lingered at the night market, while the nobles on the upper floors sang and danced. Peaceful and harmonious, it gave the impression of national prosperity and people's safety. At this moment, the night sky suddenly became resplendent. 3 meteors crashed into the ground, hitting the city and turning it into a sea of fire instantly. More than half the people died on the spot. Those who survived fled in terror and panic. All the beauty abruptly ended at this moment. Roar. The more terrifying thing was, 3 hideous blood-red giant beasts emerged from the meteor craters. They had arrived at this land alongside the meteors. Once they climbed out, they attacked the creatures on the land. Some were torn apart by a single claw, their intestines scattering all over the ground. Others were thrown into a blood-red maw and chewed, accompanied by shrill screams. In some cases, the half of the body protruding from the mouth emitted desperate and painful cries. Strong individuals from the human clan drew their swords to rise and fight back, only to be easily pierced by the beasts and tossed into their mouths as food. In an instant, this place turned into a living purgatory. Concubine Xianxia's face turned slightly pale. Is this an illusion? Or did it really happen? Clang. Jang Fan had already drawn his sword, his eyes icy. Just kill them. Because he saw a girl in a red dress running out of a collapsing mansion. Wearing a bridal gown embroidered with a golden silk phoenix, she appeared strikingly out of place in the burning flames, amidst the city's mountains of corpses. A blood-red giant beast was eyeing her. It raised its claw, slamming down hard, wanting to crush this red figure into pulp. Puff! With a flash of purple light, the blood-red giant beast's claw was severed by a sword. Before the beast could react, its huge head was already sliced off by a sword. The girl bride looked up in astonishment and saw Jang Fan and a woman as beautiful as a painting. Thank you, the girl bride cried. Jang Fan quietly watched for a long while before softly saying, hide away and don't die again. Then he turned, brandishing his sword and charging at the other two giant beasts. Concubine Xianxia glanced at the girl bride, her heart aching slightly. The spirit of Ling Shu in red makeup will forever be an unhealable scar for Jang Fan. The blood-red giant beasts weren't very formidable. F-R-E-E-B novel. C-O-M, 5th level of core formation. Killing them was easy. When the third one was killed, the space in front of them distorted and their vision was restored to the seemingly endless staircase. Jiang, don't be sad. What just happened wasn't real. Concubine Xianxia gently comforted him. Suddenly, she seemed to notice something and looked behind Jang Fan, speaking in a serious tone. Jiang, look behind you. Jang Fan turned his head and his expression changed slightly. Unexpectedly, a blood-red light pillar about an inch long had appeared behind him at some point. Jang Fan's silhouette flickered as he tried to shake it off, but he found that the blood-red light pillar followed closely behind him, as if it were attached to his body. What is this? Jang Fan's expression became complicated. Concubine Xianxia looked at her own empty back and said, it should be related to Jiang having killed the 3 blood-red giant beasts. Oh, there are words on the light pillar. She keenly noticed that the pillar was covered in dense writing. Looking closely, it turned out to be written in the language of the demon race. Linglang hunting ground, hunter number 888, prey count. 3, so the so-called heavenly ascending ancient road is actually a hunt. Then what we saw earlier wasn't an illusion realm, but a mysterious space, and everything happening inside was real. Concubine Xianxia recalled the tragic sights of those people, remembering the tearful thanks of the girl bride. Her heart was shaken. Jang Fan clenched his fists, grateful that he didn't treat it as an illusion and saved that girl. Let the world be spared another bride vanishing tragically. Continue. Jang Fan leapt onto the second step. If this ancient road is indeed a hunt, and the worldly wonders at the top are the rewards, then the final decision must be based on the number of prey captured, right? Thinking of this, his eyes were filled with a sharp glint. As they stepped forward, the illusion resurfaced. This time it was a battlefield, where a group of valiant warriors from the demon race launched an attack against 6 blood-red giant beasts. The blood-red giant beasts, similar to the ones on the first layer, were savage reptiles that could stand upright. But they were more formidable than those from the first layer, with 5 at the 5th level of core formation and 1 reaching the 6th level. On their first strike, they inflicted massive casualties on the demon race warriors. Realizing they were facing fellow demon race members, Concubine Xianxia raised her hand, ready to step in. Jang Fan, however, stopped her. You don't need to act. He performed a sword control technique, instantly piercing through the heads of the 6 blood lizards. The light pillar behind him, originally an inch long, now grew to 3 inches, and the number on it changed to 9. Jang Fan looked at Concubine Xianxia's empty back and said, no pie falls from the sky for free. A mysterious fog delivering a hunt to Pugang state is not to be ignored. Concubine Xianxia understood Jang Fan's intention. Among the two of them, it's best for one to remain outside the hunt. Any unforeseen changes, and she can lend a hand without getting caught up together. Thus, the two continued their slaughter forward. With Jang Fan's strength, they advanced like a hot knife through butter. Several days later, as the heavenly ascending ancient road continued for 10 days, prodigies had gradually reached over 9,000 levels. Some impatient strong figures from the divine sect gathered one after another. Qi Yin Master hurriedly greeted a middle-aged man with faint purple light surrounding his eyes and clad in luxurious attire as soon as he saw him. Greetings, Pavilion Master. The newcomer was precisely the Xianxia Pavilion Master, a great cultivator at the 7-orifice nascent soul stage. The Xianxia Pavilion Master surveyed the surroundings, his eyes flickering with a sharp gleam. Which other leaders from the great sects have arrived? Qi Yin Master heartfully replied. Reporting to the Pavilion Master, among the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects, only the Fire Worship Sect and White Horse Temple Masters haven't come. All other divine sect masters have arrived. Divine sects refer to the top forces in Pugang state. To be precise, it should be the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. The standard for being named a great sect is having an unrivaled great master of the nascent soul ninth layer sitting in the sect, while a divine sect is a great power with a presence of the divinity transformation realm. The Tiania Sea Pavilion could only be considered one of the 7 great sects. The pavilion master of the Sea Pavilion chuckled lightly. Very proactive, aren't they? And no wonder Venerate Zinni from Heavenly State has stated that he would be waiting at the end of the heavenly ascending ancient road. The first to reach the end will be accepted as a disciple. Who wouldn't be tempted? Yin Master displayed deep envy. Even before the heavenly ascending ancient road opened, Venerate Zinni had announced that he would take the best performing disciple under his wing and bring them back to Young Emperor Mountain. Young Emperor Mountain is rumored to be a mysterious force backed by a living great sage. Every generation's young emperor is exceedingly powerful. The current young emperor is said to be a supreme peak venerable who has cultivated the void flow thunder force to great success. He has already touched the law of Thunderbolt, nearly stepping into the great sage realm. If anyone could join young Emperor Mountain, their future achievements would be limitless. Perhaps they might even reach divinity transformation and become a venerate standing above a state. Therefore, the leaders of major sects eagerly hoped their disciples would stand out and be noticed by Venerate Zinni. This way, if the disciple returns successful in cultivation, the sect would surely rise in status and be among the divine sect. Even if they are unwilling to return, it would at least form good relations with a divinity transformation venerable. There are only benefits, no downsides. Qi Yin Master enviously said, "This generation of disciples is truly lucky to encounter such a blessing. I wonder which fortunate one will seize this opportunity." As he spoke, he suddenly paused. Could it be that Jang Fan would end up reaping the benefits? At this moment, the stairs of the heavenly ascending ancient road suddenly trembled. Streams of divine light shot forth, intertwining at the stairway entrance to form a radiant stele. It was densely engraved with names. Whiz, 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 one after another, powerful figures, some reaching the 6 orifice or even 7 orifice nascent soul realm, arrived swiftly. Among them were the leaders of the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects, as well as powerful leaders from first-class forces and families. They all gazed at the stele. Is this the ranking of the inner disciples' achievements? Ranked first is number 88. Number 88 belongs to my great Yin sect's Feng Yuan sect. Ha ha ha, I knew it. Such a place is perfect for our great Yin sect. Leaders of the divine sect and major sects displayed a range of complex expressions, some envious, some jealous, and others complaining about unfairness. The great Yin sect has many disciples from different branches, all practicing rather sinister techniques, especially the Yin corpse faction. It's practically cheating. Releasing corpses overwhelms everything. The second, number 360, is from our 10,000 tribulations holy temple, still not weak. With 1,000 more steps to go, victory or defeat is yet undecided. The third, number 9, is from our Sanking Mountain. The fourth is... Many first-class sects looked down with bitter expressions. The top 10 were all from the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects, and even within the top 20, there were rarely anyone outside of them. Surely, the divine sect and major sect disciples' performance is a direct reflection of their heritage. There's a change in the top 20 rankings. An 888 number broke in. Which house is this from? Everyone's number on the ray of light on them was randomly assigned. A higher number doesn't mean they were the last to enter. Therefore, even Master Chen Jing, who held the entrance register, couldn't match the people to their numbers. He examined number 888 on the stele and speculated. It should still belong to someone from the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. The top 20 rankings are all Left Dao Nascent Souls, and other sects haven't cultivated the foundation of Left Dao Nascent Soul disciples. At this moment, the ranking changed again. It's now 19th, they've surpassed another person again in achievements. Wait, still changing, 18th, 17th, 16th already. Are you crazy? Is he a nascent soul realm or what? Hunting prey that quickly. According to the news from my disciple, after the 9,000th step, they're all Left Dao Nascent Souls inside. Each one is hard to kill, but this person is killing instantly. Did someone smuggle a nascent soul realm in? Upon hearing this, Master Chen Jing's expression shifted. He solemnly said, "How is that possible? I personally checked everyone going in. How could a nascent soul realm mix in? Moreover, my master personally ordered forbidding nascent souls to step in. Who would dare to risk death by impersonating to enter?" But looking at the rapidly changing rankings, Master Chen Jing fell silent. because in just a dozen breaths this person had jumped to 13th place. This speed, how could it be achieved by a disciple at the Left Dao Nascent Soul? Who on earth is this person? Master Chen Jing was deeply serious. He couldn't recall allowing such a formidable person in. On the 9,500th step. Boom! Yu Peiyuan spat out a mouthful of blood, flying backward, hitting the unbelievably hard stone steps. Blood stained her chest, and her lovely face showed signs of pain. Little brat, how dare you lure us to the lair of 10 Left Dao Nascent Soul beasts? If you want to kill us, then you don't expect to live either. A young Taoist from Shannaming Mountain, clutching his bitten-off arm, glared fiercely. The bloodied horsetail whisk in his hand condensed into a blade, pointing distantly at Yu Peiyuan. Yu Peiyuan endured the severe pain in her body, looking at Wei Kaoran, also heavily injured beside her, and said, "Brother Wei, can you still hold on?" Wei Kaoran gritted his teeth and said, "Junior sister, you shouldn't have provoked them." Yu Peiyuan's face showed regret. Her ability to foresee fortunes and misfortunes made using the heavenly ascending ancient road as easy as a fish in water. Upon entering a space, she could judge, by premonition, which side had dangerous beasts and which direction was favorable to them. As such, they could avoid danger, find easy prey, and not only be safe and relaxed, but also amass a great number of achievements. So much so that their strength, originally just enough to barely make it into the top 20, now put them as a dark horse, advancing into the top 10's end. Unfortunately, good times didn't last. They caught the attention of 2 Left Dao Nascent Soul elite disciples from Shannaming Mountain, who proposed forming a team with them. Yu Peiyuan naturally refused, and they would fight. The result was predictable. Having relied on divining fortunes, they were no match for these two. Within dozens of rounds, they were captured, forced to use her divination ability to work for them. Yu Peiyuan deliberately led them to a dangerous place, trying to use fierce beasts to eliminate them. Unexpectedly, the two were so powerful that they were only injured. Thus, the current situation unfolded. Yu Peiyuan gritted her teeth and said, "Brother, I've dragged you down. You should go. I'll hold them here." Both sides have already escalated to this extent with no one around. How could these two prodigies from Shannaming Mountain let them go? They feared they would be killed in a fit of rage. Wei Kaoran hesitated for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, "All right, brother will avenge you in the future." Just as he was about to turn and leave, Wei Kaoran paused again and said, "Junior sister, I'll take that blue seed back too and hand it over to our master." Yu Peiyuan sensed something amiss. She was on the brink of death, yet Wei Kaoran was still preoccupied with her seed. She had an indescribable feeling. But in this urgent situation, she didn't think much and removed her space ring, tossing it to him. "Take it all." Wei Kaoran joyfully caught it, secretly exchanging a glance with the 2 Shannaming Mountain disciples, giving them a grateful look. Then pretended to be very ashamed and said, "What about this spell?" Yu Peiyuan unthinkingly said, "Ship." Just as she uttered a word, a swishing sound appeared unexpectedly in front of Wei Kaoran. Immediately, a large hand grasped Wei Kaoran's, snatching back the space ring from his palm. A familiar voice, causing Yu Peiyuan to tremble violently, interrupted her words. "Senior sister Yu, how can you casually give away items given by Senior Bai Luo?" Peiyuan couldn't believe her eyes. A handsome young man with fair skin, dressed in black, had subdued Wei Kaoran with just one hand. She couldn't believe her eyes. Jiang. Junior brother Jiang. It was no wonder she doubted, for even Wei Kaoran beside her had his expression frozen. Jang Fan appearing in Taikang state, on the heavenly ascending ancient road, at the 9,500th layer. Who could believe it? Soon, Wei Kaoran reacted, attempting to snatch back the ring and shouted in a low voice, "This is none of your business. Get out of the way." Jang Fan glanced at him lightly, and with a casual wave of his hand, unleashed an overwhelming force that Wei Kaoran couldn't resist, throwing him away. Wei Kaoran hurriedly stabilized his figure, stumbling as he landed, looking down at his wrist, where a clear 5-fingered red mark had been pinched. He looked at Jang Fan with some suspicion. "You, what is your cultivation?" He was, after all, at the nascent soul realm, and that throw just now left him with no power to resist. Jang Fan gazed at him deeply. Wei Kaoran and the 2 disciples from Shannaming Mountain exchanged glances, which he noticed. Combining this with the blue seed in Yu Peiyuan's hand, he understood 7 or 8/10ths of the situation. He said coldly, "How many people in your life will take a knife for you? Such a person, and you actually conspire with outsiders to harm her." He stepped in front of Yu Peiyuan and said, "Stay away from Wei Kaoran in the future. He doesn't deserve your brother-sister bond." Yu Peiyuan still didn't understand what was happening. until the one-armed disciple from Sanking Mountain coldly questioned, "Wei Kaoran, you didn't say there was another helper." To get here, one must have fought their way up from the 9,500th step. How could any of them be simple? With a sudden outsider appearing, they naturally had to reconsider their cooperation with Wei Kaoran. At this moment, Yu Peiyuan woke up as if from a dream, incredulous. "Brother Wei, you collaborated with them to deceive me?" She found it strange why, when leading the two into the lair of the blood-colored giant beast, they suddenly woke up at the last moment. It turned out to be Wei Kaoran who warned them. Wei Kaoran wanted the blue seed in her hand, and the two from Sanking Mountain wanted her ability to sense fortune and misfortune. So they joined forces. Ridiculous that she was sold out by Wei Kaoran, yet blocked a deadly blow for him and even gave him the blue seed as a gift. Wei Kaoran? The huge sense of betrayal made Yu Peiyuan both sad and angry. She glared at Wei Kaoran with tears in her eyes. Now that he was exposed, Wei Kaoran didn't pretend anymore and went to the side of the two disciples from Sanking Mountain. He said coldly, "Blame yourself. Master initially valued me the most, and that opportunity for tribulation transcendence should have been left for me. But you overshadowed this brat and got the blue seed, so Master began considering giving it to you. You took my opportunity, and I didn't kill you by my own hand. That's already considering our brother-sister bond." Yu Peiyuan bit her red lips tightly, heartache rendering her speechless. Jang Fan observed him coldly and said, "Wei Kaoran, don't you feel ashamed saying this? Qi Yin Master initially designated you to accompany me to the divinity transformation relics, but you were afraid of losing out and had your junior sister go. Being too selfish, you let the opportunity fall into your junior sister's hands. Can you blame others for that?" Wei Kaoran snorted coldly. "Mind your own business. Senior brothers, this person is merely a disciple of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Though his strength is considerable, it's not beyond our capability. The three of us together, it won't be hard to handle him. Then, I'll leave my junior sister to your disposal, just please make sure there's no trace left for me." In other words, after using Yu Peiyuan, remember to eliminate her. Originally, he hadn't planned to do this. As long as he got the blue seed, that was enough. But now Jang Fan had exposed him. If Yu Peiyuan went back to complain, could he avoid punishment? It's common for disciples to fight among themselves, but colluding with outsiders to harm fellow disciples is intolerable by any master. Yu Peiyuan's pupils widened. "Wei Kaoran, you beast!" He actually intended to murder her. Wei Kaoran's eyes flashed coldly. "Blame Jang Fan for meddling. After you die, remember to find him. Do it." All three of them struck at once. Each of them was at the nascent soul level on a left-hand path, reaching the nascent soul level in some respect. If it were a 3-on-1 with an equal-level left-path nascent soul, there would naturally be no doubts. Unfortunately, they faced Jang Fan. "Divine Lord of Vastness! Heaven and earth alone!" A divine image and an emperor image appeared side by side, unleashing unparalleled power towards the three attackers. The faces of the three, including Wei Kaoran, changed dramatically. The strike made them feel the pressure of facing a true nascent soul. Even as they joined forces to resist, they were shaken immediately, their blood churning and spitting blood from all 7 orifices, especially the one-armed disciple from Sanking Mountain, whose remaining arm was mercilessly severed by the Emperor's sword, letting out a pig-like scream. Just one strike swept away the 3 left-path nascent souls. Wei Kaoran wiped the blood from his eyes, full of shock. In just a month, the disciple of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, who was at Jiden 8th layer when they met, had become so terrifying. Jang Fan looked at them indifferently, then turned to the equally stunned Yu Peiyuan and asked, "How should we handle these 3? The 2 disciples from Sanking Mountain were easier to deal with. Wei Kaoran, however, was a disciple of Qi Yin Master, and this time Qi Yin Master sent them here, asking Jang Fan to assist his disciples. How could he justly kill the Master's disciple without permission? Unless Yu Peiyuan requested he take action. However, Yu Peiyuan's answer didn't surprise him. She glared coldly at Wei Kaoran for a full 5 breaths, then shouted, "Get lost. I never want to see your heartless self again." Having narrowly escaped death, Wei Kaoran gave Yu Peiyuan a complex look and decisively headed down the steps without continuing the challenge. As for the remaining Sanking Mountain disciples, Yu Peiyuan didn't want to cause too much trouble for Jang Fan. Killing them would undoubtedly lead to severe retaliation from Sanking Mountain and Tianji Pavilion. She glanced at the Sanking Mountain disciple, now with both arms severed, and her anger subsided as she snorted. To be frank, there's a very dangerous omen in the space beneath our feet. If I had led you there, you'd have died already. You've lost both arms, which serves you right. Let's call it even today. If you dare to cause trouble for junior brother Jiang, don't blame me for revealing everything. Even you won't get away easily. Heaven and Sea Pavilion won't let an elite disciple be plotted against without consequence. The two Sanking Mountain disciples exchanged glances, abandoning any thoughts of retaliation. First, they feared Heaven and Sea Pavilion, and second, Jang Fan's strength was absurdly powerful and not easy to provoke. The two nodded and left in disgrace. Yu Peiyuan let out a long breath, then felt a bit embarrassed and said, "Junior brother Jiang, am I too soft? Even after all this, I let them go." Jang Fan patted her shoulder. "A bit, but I don't dislike it." It was precisely because she had a kind heart that Jang Fan was willing to help her. "You just mentioned there's a very dangerous area beneath us. What's going on?" Jang Fan asked. He hadn't immediately entered the stone staircase space because concubine Xianxia was still on the previous step. Once she arrived, they would enter together. So he needed to understand first. Yu Peiyuan shook her head, frowning. "I can't explain it. I've never sensed danger on such a scale. Even when encountering the two late-stage nascent soul tiger demons in the divinity transformation relics, it wasn't like this." Jang Fan immediately became serious. The male tiger in the divinity transformation realm ruins back, then almost swallowed them alive. Could the danger before them now be even more perilous than that? "Don't worry too much, junior brother Jiang. I'll accompany you again. With my ability to sense fortune and misfortune, I can help you avoid danger," Yu Peiyuan suggested. Jang Fan thought for a moment, then nodded lightly. The four of them had gone down before without incident, indicating the vastness of the underground space, sufficient to easily avoid danger. He waved to concubine Xianxia in the distance. Concubine Xianxia lightly leaped over and walked to Jang Fan's side. Yu Peiyuan, looking at concubine Xianxia, was immediately amazed. "Is this junior brother Jiang's partner? So beautiful." She thought she had seen many fairies in Taikang State, but none like concubine Xianxia. "Thank you for the compliment. Sister is also very pure and adorable," concubine Xianxia said with a gentle smile. Yu Peiyuan grinned awkwardly. "Sister really knows how to compliment people." When someone's first impression of you involves adjectives like cute, straightforward, or cheerful, you must be cautious, as they probably don't find you attractive. Unable to compliment your appearance, they focus on your personality and character. Fortunately, the distortion of space resolved Yu Peiyuan's embarrassment. They found themselves in a ravaged world. The sky was dark, lacking spiritual energy, and the ruined sects were overgrown with weeds, with skeletons discarded along the roadside, unclaimed. Everything lay in desolation, resembling an apocalyptic scene. As Jang Fan traveled the world, he witnessed many places ravaged by bloody giant beasts turning into wastelands. "How is it?" Jang Fan asked. Yu Peiyuan closed her eyes to sense and moments later looked slightly surprised. "Strange, the feeling of extreme danger has vanished. Could it be that I misjudged it earlier? Could such a dangerous entity disappear into thin air? If not, even better. Let's first slay the blood-colored giant beasts here," Jang Fan said. He glanced around and quickly spotted a few blood-colored giant beasts wandering amidst the ruins, searching for survivor life forms. The blood-colored giant beasts here reached the Left Dao Nascent Soul level, over 100 feet long, very conspicuous. He leaped forward, killing without saying a word. Usura Karmic Fire, 5 Magnetic Yuan Mountain. He easily killed 2, while the other 2 fled in panic. Jang Fan caught up with one, a Divine Lord's Desolation blasted it to the ground. About to end its life and quickly pursue the other one. He had figured out the spatial rule here. Once you kill all the blood-colored giant beasts within sight, you get transported out. As he was about to strike, his body suddenly froze. A terrifying aura that sent chills down his spine emanated from a rooftop of an abandoned sect's main hall in the distance. It was a middle-aged man. Star-like eyes and sword-like eyebrows, with sharp and spirited eyes, his features very proper, wearing a moon-white robe with black hair tied in a jade crown. His palm pressed on a sword box standing atop the main hall. At this moment, a blood-colored beast unintentionally rushed toward a dilapidated temple. Inside the temple, some human clan heads appeared. Seeing the giant beast approaching, they all showed hopeless expressions. Jang Fan noticed too, his expression changing. This is not an illusion realm, these are real human clan, just as he was about to take action. The middle-aged man in white casually lifted his hand, and a mysterious sword light shot out from the sword box, piercing the bloody giant beast. Jang Fan was shocked by the scene that unfolded. The blood-colored giant beast fell with a crash. Its body transformed into tens of thousands of small meat cubes. Each piece was identically sized, forming neat cube-like meat blocks. At what breathtaking level of swordsmanship could one slice a body into such shapes with a single sword strike? The middle-aged swordsman leaped down, coming to stand in front of the broken temple. He showed kindness to the humans within. "Find another place to stay. It's no longer safe here." The few humans expressed endless gratitude, clasped their hands in salute, and headed with their belongings to refuge in a further city. The middle-aged swordsman watched them go with a deep look of pity. Alas, what sin has the world committed to endure such demonic rise? Turning, he floated through the air, landing before Jang Fan, showing an appreciative look. "Young man, have you come to save the world too?" Jang Fan's heart rattled. In such a hopeless space, how was there such a powerful human clan warrior? But this person fought for justice, showing great compassion to all living beings, exuding a righteousness that made him not seem wicked at all. Therefore, Jang Fan hurriedly saluted. "I wouldn't dare claim that, just helping where I can when injustice is seen." The spatial rules here made it impossible for him to stay in one space and kill all the blood-colored beasts. He could only try his best to save whoever he saw. The middle-aged swordsman smiled. "I saw that. When the blood-colored beast was about to trample the ruined temple, you were going to step in too. You are also a person with a sense of justice." Jang Fan said, "With a predecessor like you, what need is there for my assistance?" The middle-aged swordsman patted Jang Fan's shoulder, speaking earnestly. "Don't say that. Righteous energy, long shall it last. How can I alone be enough? Thousands upon thousands like you and me are needed to keep this righteous energy alive." Jang Fan felt ashamed in his heart. He was far from being a man of great righteousness, yet the person before him radiated righteousness that shone within and without. Like the sun in the sky, its light expelling all darkness from the world. Jang Fan couldn't help but feel a sense of inferiority. "I am enlightened, senior." The middle-aged swordsman nodded slightly. "Rare to encounter a kindred spirit, let me give you a gift. I hope you can go further on the path of extending righteousness." He opened the sword box, ran his finger through it, drawing out a mysterious sword light of 9 colors, clenching it in his 5 fingers. The sword light transformed into a dazzling 9-colored light sword, filled with boundless righteousness. "This is a bit of sword intent I've honed, it's yours. Reflect on it well, it will aid your sword Dao." Sword intent. Jang Fan didn't know what it was, but clearly, this person's sword Dao attainments were beyond his understanding. Any gift he offered would be extraordinary, no doubt. He immediately accepted it with respect in both hands. The 9-colored light sword felt as light as a feather in his hands, merging into the flesh of his hands. With a mere thought, it reappeared wondrously so. "Farewell, young man. Our path is never lonely, righteousness endures, ha-ha-ha." He hoisted the sword box on his back and strode into the distance. Jang Fan bowed, "Farewell, senior." He never expected to meet a chivalrous warrior filled with heaven and earth's righteousness in such a desolate end-of-world setting, and he received a blessing from him. Swoosh. Concubine Xianxia and Yu Peiyuan rushed over. Concubine Xianxia looked impressed. "A truly unparalleled swordsman." Yu Peiyuan, however, remained silent, tugging at Jang Fan's sleeve, fear tinging her voice. Quickly kill this beast. Let's leave this space immediately." Jang Fan looked at her in confusion. He found Yu Peiyuan full of fear, her eyes locked onto the receding middle-aged swordsman, her body trembling all over. She murmured lowly, He is the great danger." Fan took a sharp breath. Was this terrifyingly powerful middle-aged swordsman the extremely evil figure Yu Peiyuan mentioned? He appeared right in front of him. Yet this man exuded righteousness, so why was he considered evil? Despite his doubts, Jang Fan chose to trust Yu Peiyuan and decisively drew his purple sword, stabbing towards the blood-colored beast's head. The middle-aged swordsman, who had walked quite a distance, suddenly stopped. He slowly turned around, once again fixing his gaze on Jang Fan, and asked, "Young man, why do you have blood chi on you? Wait, there's also human clans in it. Have you killed people? Why haven't you paid with your life? A life for a life, that's natural justice. Why do you still live? Killing is evil, and evil must be punished by righteousness. You are evil, you are wicked. You are intolerable by heaven and earth." The middle-aged swordsman roared in anger, appearing somewhat mad. Jang Fan's expression changed as he continued to stab towards the blood-colored beast, saying, "Senior, please listen to my explanation. I have never killed the innocent. They all deserved it, Reweb and Oval. Calm, the middle-aged swordsman, became completely mad. He abruptly opened his sword box and shouted, "I don't care, I won't listen. A killer should pay with his life. That is justice. You deserve to die?" Jang Fan's pupils shrank dramatically. The terrifying, mysterious sword light was not something he could withstand. Fortunately, with Yu Peiyuan's early warning, Jang Fan had successfully slain the blood-colored beast. The space before them rapidly distorted, and just as the nine-colored sword light began to engulf them, the space power transported them away. Thud! The three of them kneeled on the stone steps, their faces pale as paper. Sweat dripped from their bodies. Jang Fan touched his neck. In the instant he was engulfed by the nine-colored sword light, he felt as if his entire body was being sliced by a blade. Looking at Yu Peiyuan and concubine Xianxia, their eyes were also filled with lingering fear. If they had delayed even a single moment, the three of them would have met the same fate as that blood-colored beast. "Senior Sister Yu, what exactly is this heavenly ascending ancient road? Why did such a terrifying person suddenly appear?" Jang Fan asked, still shaking with fear, a deep dread for the steps ahead growing within him. However, Yu Peiyuan revealed something that made Jang Fan's heart jump. He's not from the space of the heavenly ascending ancient road. He is the first sword cultivator of Taikang State, Jiang Wuya, titled Ju Zheng Shangren. What? Nine-orifice nascent soul. Jang Fan felt a chill in his heart. Surviving the hands of such an existence was nothing short of a miracle. He asked incredulously, "Then how is he in the steps? Isn't it forbidden for those of the nascent soul realm to enter?" Yu Peiyuan smiled bitterly, saying, "Perhaps he arrived at the heavenly ascending ancient road even before that venerable. So no one knew he was inside one of the step spaces. Is that possible?" Jang Fan recalled the man's oddity. Not a moment ago, he regarded him as a fellow, approving his just acts and even gifting sword intent as encouragement. Yet the next, upon discovering he had killed, he saw him as great evil, attacking without reason to deliver judgment. The contrast was too extreme. "Then what happened to him?" Jang Fan asked, bewildered. Yu Peiyuan sighed deeply. "He went mad." Jang Fan was astonished, wildly curious. How could such a great cultivator go mad? To cultivate to the nine-orifice nascent soul level, one's willpower must surpass ordinary people countless times over. What could drive them mad? The Sky Demon Emperor was cuckolded so terribly, he nearly self-destructed from rage, yet he didn't go mad. Let alone someone at the nine-orifice nascent soul realm. Yu Peiyuan looked surprised. "Didn't your elders tell you the secret of the late-stage nascent soul realm?" "Oh. Also, your heavenly mechanism pavilion master is himself just a one-orifice nascent soul. Perhaps he doesn't know, or even if he does, he probably thinks it's too soon to tell you before you succeed in tribulation. The reason he turned out this way is because, to exterminate evil and demons, righteousness shall triumph." A low roar came from the steps below them. Jang Fan's face drastically changed. He swiftly swept the two into the next step space. Not long after, Jiang Wuya, with the sword box on his back, burst out of the space, his dark hair flying, eyes filled with madness, looking down on the surroundings, Reweb and Oval. "Come, evil demons and false paths, heaven and earth shall execute." He leapt forward, plunging into the next step. Jang Fan looked at the blood-colored beasts before him, no longer hesitant, rapidly slaughtering at all costs. For he sensed an unrivaled sword chi approaching him maniacally. Fortunately, the steps transported different groups to different places. This gave Jang Fan a slight time gap. Otherwise, if they all transported to one place, Jiang Wuya would have cut down him, the great evil, with a single encounter. "Jiang, should I intervene?" Concubine Xianxia frowned. Pursued by a nine-orifice nascent soul left no room for even a tiny mistake. Jang Fan shook his head. "No need." He handed Yu Peiyuan a revitalizing pill, saying, "Senior Sister Yu, it's up to you." Yu Peiyuan said no more, swallowing the pill and immediately aiding in the slaughter. Very soon, the space distorted and they were transported away, Jiang Wuya carrying sword chi as he arrived. He glanced at the sky, swung his finger, and the mysterious sword light shattered the space, revealing a crack, then leapt out. The rules of the steps had no effect on him whatsoever, and entering the next step, Jang Fan immediately sensed Jiang Wuya had arrived. His heart thumped with terror, rapidly slaughtering the blood-colored beasts. Then he decisively left. Thus, repeatedly, countless steps were traversed, and Jiang Wuya relentlessly pursued Jang Fan. Luckily, Jiang Wuya was in a state of madness, not calm. Otherwise, after entering, breaking the space to wait for Jiang Fan's emergence, he could have ended him with one sword stroke. Now he only maniacally chased him. 9,999 steps. The Feng Yuan sect disciple, bloodied Feng Yuanzong, emerged, looking at the final step ahead. He laughed to the sky. Ha ha! First place is mine. His gaze swept past the final 10,000 steps, witnessing the legendary giant pill furnace higher than the sky, spewing colorful pill fog and ancient immortal corpses. He also saw an elder seated at the peak of clouds. A golden divine ring prominently stood behind him. The divine ring, a symbol of a divinity transformation venerable. He, Feng Yuanzong, was about to reach the top, to become a disciple of this divinity transformation venerable. Just then, a formidable aura emerged from behind. Turning, he saw three panic-stricken people. One he recognized, a female disciple from Heaven and Sea Pavilion or something. Due to being unattractive, her name wasn't memorable. The other two were entirely unfamiliar. Upon reaching the 9,999th step, they immediately entered the space. Feng Yuanzong couldn't believe his eyes. Which sex-hidden prodigy is this, chasing up to me? Clearly, the second place was Hua Wang from the 10,000 Tribulation's holy temple. In this confusion, a terrifying sword chi tore apart the steps. A matchless, powerful figure soared skyward. Just one glance at Jiang Wuya made Feng Yuanzong gasp. Jiang Wuya? Ah! He screamed, quickly jumping onto the 10,000th step and was swiftly taken inside. Jiang Wuya noticed him, eyes full of righteous awe. Full of yin qi, another false demon path. He immediately launched a sword light. Ah! Feng Yuanzong's wails came from within the steps, lamenting, I'm just here for the excitement. The blood-colored beasts on the second-to-last layer are extremely numerous. All of them are Left Dao Nascent Souls, and their number reaches an astonishing 50. To kill them, one can only spend time, killing a few and then running away, coming back to kill a few more, and slowly grinding them down this way. Otherwise, a one-orifice nascent soul rushing in would be beaten to death by the blood-colored beasts, becoming a delivered meal. But where does Jang Fan have time to slowly exhaust? He immediately took out the 9 Phoenix hairpin and said, I hope you can do it just this once. Twice, when using the 9 Phoenix hairpin against the Sky Demon Emperor, it failed. Once, it was because his soul wasn't strong enough. When the Phoenix was about to capture the Sky Demon Emperor's soul, it failed. Once, it was blocked by the shadow of the Dharma seal Vajra. If it fails again, he might as well throw this broken hairpin away. He immediately channeled all his soul power to activate the hairpin. A speck of blue light appeared, quickly growing into a parasol tree, and a phoenix spread its wings and flew out, effortlessly penetrating the body of a blood-colored beast. It very easily took away its soul. Without reaching the nascent soul realm, the soul leaving the body results in being unable to withstand external pressure, causing it to disintegrate on the spot. The phoenix then flew towards the other blood-colored beasts, quickly capturing the souls of one giant beast after another. It seemed like more than 50 Left Dao Nascent Soul blood-colored giant beasts were rapidly reduced under the swift movement of the phoenix. They had nowhere to escape. In the blink of an eye, they were caught by the phoenix and had their souls taken. This scene left Yu Peiyuan in shock. What kind of magical treasure is this? Killing Left Dao Nascent Souls is like chickens pecking at rice, one mouthful at a time. Meanwhile, the sharp sword chi from the horizon rapidly approached. Jang Fan's expression changed dramatically. There's not enough time. He decisively took out the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain and said, Everyone, hide behind the mountain in a moment. If there's anything left that could block the sword chi, he could only rely on the hardness of the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, coupled with the reduction of sword chi by the 5 magnetic divine light. Aside from this, there was no other possibility. Tweet. The piercing sound of the high-speed sword chi was close by. Jiang Wuya has arrived. Fortunately, the phoenix finally took away the last soul and flew back with dim feathers. The space above their heads quickly twisted, and Jiang Wuya was already close by, flicking his finger, sending a strand of sword light to attack. There wasn't enough time to be transported away. They would be sliced into pieces mid-transport. He gritted his teeth and activated the 5 magnetic divine light. The appearance of the 6 Zhang divine light left everyone present powerless. That terrifying sword light forcibly pierced through the divine light's coverage, only reducing its strength by 2/10. The remaining sword light mercilessly struck the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Bang, bang! The ear-piercing sound of the sword light slicing through the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain could be heard. The sword light didn't penetrate the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, but the contained power pushed the mountain fiercely towards the 3 of them. With such force, even a slight impact would leave them shattered. In that critical moment, Jang Fan decisively used the void flow fire force, grabbing everyone and leaping into the already twisted space. Whoosh! Before the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain crashed into pieces, they were transported away. Subsequently, the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain was also wrapped by space power, dissolving all the force on it. When Jang Fan and the others appeared on the stone steps, the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain softly fell down. Jang Fan caught it, breaking out in a cold sweat and saying, "I almost got killed by my own magic artifact." He didn't have time to inspect the damage on the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, hurriedly taking everyone into the last ladder space. Jiang Wuya was right on their heels, at the end of the ladder, in the azure sky. Feng Zini sat cross-legged on the clouds, the divine ring behind him quietly emitting gentle golden light. Suddenly, he abruptly opened his old eyes, a glint of light bursting forth. He seemed to sense something. Taking out a compass from his bosom, the needle on it remained still. This was to detect void flow thunder force with a magic artifact. Did I sense it wrong? Or is it another kind outside of void flow thunder force? Feng Zini gazed down at the countless steps below, his old eyes slowly narrowing. 10,000 steps. When Jiang Fan saw over 100 Left Dao Nascent Soul level blood-colored beasts rampaging in a city before him, he felt a deep sense of powerlessness. He could no longer activate the 9 Phoenix hairpin, and Jiang Wuya would not stop. A strand of powerful sword chi had already descended upon this space. However, Jiang Fan was slightly taken aback when that sword chi moved away. It seemed to be pursuing something else. Yu Peiyuan exclaimed in surprise, "I think I just saw Feng Yuanzong of the Great Yin sect. Could it be that it's chasing after him? That guy must have brought lots of Yin corpses with him. Surely he's more evil than junior brother Jiang." FREUEBNOVEL.com. Jiang Fan let out a slight sigh of relief. Then brother Feng will just have to endure a bit. Let's quickly deal with the blood-colored beasts in front of us. Concubine Xianxia also joined the fray, but she wasn't killing, only luring. Jiang Fan and Yu Peiyuan were doing their utmost to kill. A moment later, of the over 100 blood-colored beasts, only 50 remained. At this rate, they had a chance to successfully escape this space. But at this moment, a cloud of dark mist appeared on the horizon, rapidly rushing toward them. Within the cloud, corpses were occasionally hurled out, falling towards the rear. They were met with neatly sliced cubes from a streak of sword light. Yu Peiyuan anxiously said, "Damn it, Feng Yuanzong is leading them straight to us." Within the dark mist, Feng Yuanzong shouted angrily, "It's clearly you who brought Jiang Wuya here. Now I'm giving him back to you." He couldn't be blamed for being enraged. He was methodically taking down the blood-colored beasts, confident in victory. Who knew Jiang Wuya would barge in and head straight for him? In desperation, he released Yin corpses one after another to draw Jiang Wuya's attention, barely clinging to life until now. But his entire army of Yin corpses had been mostly wiped out by Jiang Wuya. Especially the 3 precious nascent soul corpses, which Jiang Wuya had also destroyed. These were treasures of the great Yin sect, secretly entrusted to him by the sect master before setting out on the heavenly ascending ancient road. His swift advance relied heavily on the 3 nascent soul corpses. But who knew halfway along, Jiang Wuya would appear. The Yin corpses were destroyed, and without eradicating the blood-colored beasts, he wouldn't be considered to have successfully ascended the stairs. Therefore, he couldn't let Jiang Fan and the others successfully kill the blood-colored beasts, even at the risk of leading Jiang Wuya to them. Snip! A terrifying aftermath of sword light suddenly slashed from the sky. Feng Yuanzong frantically threw out several late-stage of core formation Yin corpses, absorbing most of the sword chi, while a mass of condensed Yin chi formed a skull on him, blocking another strike. Still, it cost him most of his life, leaving him to fall from the sky in some pieces. This was just the aftermath of the sword light, a real sword strike. A figure in a moon-white robe with a sword box on his back approached with the speed of a thunderbolt. One moment he was on the horizon, the next moment, Jiang Wuya was only several miles away. Seeing the remaining 50 giant blood-colored beasts in front of him, Jiang Fan felt a strong foreboding in his heart. Gritting his teeth, he said, "Just remember to hold me up." Using this pen had consequences that still made him shiver, but there was no other way. He immediately lifted the execution pen to begin. Pen began to move on its own again. It frantically drained Jiang Fan's power, stroke by stroke sketching the character Death. First spiritual power, then the power of physique, followed by Void Flow Thunder Force and Void Flow Fire Force. All the powers within his body that could be extracted were completely drained. Jang Fan collapsed again, too exhausted to utter a word. His hand, gripping the execution pen, heavily fell. Yet the character for death was still not fully written. It was still missing the final stroke's sharp corner. This time, Jang Fan's physique had reached the peak of the one-orifice nascent soul level, even surpassing the Demon Emperor's physique. Despite this increase in power, he still couldn't complete the character for death. But it was enough. Concubine Xianxia held Jang Fan's hand and used the execution pen to dot the character for death. The character immediately expanded in the wind, and in an instant, stretched through the oncoming herd of gigantic beasts. A scene that shocked the two women unfolded. Any blood-colored beast of Left Dao Nascent Soul level that was touched by the character for death instantly turned black all over and then burst apart. Rotting and foul-smelling viscera, brittle black bones, it was as if a creature that had died a month ago suddenly exploded. Yu Peiyuan was dumbfounded by the scene. She looked at the pen in Jang Fan's hand, revealing a deeply rooted fear from the bottom of her heart. This pen extremely ominous. Some blood-colored beasts sensed trouble and turned to flee, but how could they escape the all-encompassing character for death? They were all mercilessly covered and subsequently exploded into foul-smelling, rotten flesh. As the blood-colored beasts perished, the space overhead twisted again, enveloping the three. Jang Fan laboriously retracted the pen. Upon retrieving it, he inadvertently noticed that the crimson ink at the pen's tip had dimmed considerably. It seemed likely that the power of the execution pen would diminish as a result, but there wasn't time to think about it. The three immediately followed the spatial transport to leave the area, leaving only Feng Yuan's sect behind. "Don't leave me behind," Feng Yuan's sect panicked. "I'm still inside." Without them, Zhang Wuya would focus solely on him. Whoosh, the group narrowly escaped danger and found themselves on a flight of 10,000 steps. Concubine Xianxia and Yu Peiyuan quickly supported Jang Fan off the steps and onto the land above. This was a land forged of bronze. The ground was uneven, with sword scars, knife marks, hammer dents, and even gigantic unknown beast claws. At the end of the bronze land, a sky-high pill furnace spewing multicolored light was clearly visible. Around the pill furnace stood eerie corpses, with characters inscribed on them, resembling cultivation techniques. And beneath the pill furnace, there was a throne suspended above the ground. On it faintly sat a person. This must be what Qi Yin Master mentioned, the divinity transformation of Taikang State who had died long ago. Jang Fan stared fixedly at him, a glimmer of hope rising in his eyes. Is there really a way to bring the dead back to life in this world? "Help me over there," Jang Fan said excitedly. Concubine Xianxia and Yu Peiyuan snapped out of their shock and helped Jang Fan walk deeper into the bronze land. After 100 steps, they were blocked by a blood-colored light curtain. FREUEBNOVEL.com. Behind the light curtain lay the secret of resurrection. The two women tried to reach out and touch it, resulting in Yu Peiyuan being able to extend her hand through, while Concubine Xianxia could not. It was undoubtedly related to Concubine Xianxia not participating in the hunt, lacking a blood-colored pillar behind her. "Xianxia, you wait for me outside." With Yu Peiyuan's support, Jang Fan stepped towards the blood-colored light curtain. They did not notice a silent elder figure appearing behind them. He was tall, with a black cloak fluttering in the wind. His hands were clasped behind him, and a divine ring floated above the back of his head, exuding a serene golden light. "From which sect are you?" The sudden voice startled everyone. The three turned their heads simultaneously and were surprised enough to see an elder silently appear behind them. This place was supposed to be open only to disciples, yet the elder before them didn't look like any disciple. When they noticed the golden ring behind his head, a loud roar simultaneously echoed in their minds. Divinity Transformation Realm. The divine ring is the unique mark of the Divinity Transformation Realm. How could the trio dare to be neglectful? Even Jang Fan cupped his hands in the two women's support, saluting. "We pay respects to the venerate?" Jang Fan's heart was in turmoil. To meet a divinity transformation venerable of Taikang State in such a manner. He wondered which sect this divinity transformation expert belonged to. Yu Peiyuan quickly bowed. "Yu Peiyuan of Heaven and Sea Pavilion greets Venerate Zinni." She naturally knew that a venerate awaited them up here. The elder with the divine ring before their eyes must be him. Concubine Xianxia also hurriedly saluted. "Xianxia of the mainland demon clan greets Venerate." Jang Fan quickly added. Jang Fan of Continent Tianji Pavilion greets Venerate. Feng Zini glanced over concubine Xianxia and Jang Fan, surprise flickering in his eyes. He hadn't expected that the first to ascend the heavenly ascending ancient road wasn't a disciple of Taikang State, but rather the juniors from the continent. However, this wasn't what concerned him. With his hands behind his back, he took out a compass, saying calmly, "Among you who cultivated void flow thunder force." Yu Peiyuan was bewildered. Concubine Xianxia immediately thought of Jang Fan, where under the 5 magnetic divine light, all the power was restricted except for a thunder attribute force Jang Fan could wield. Could that be the void flow thunder force? But she didn't think the person in front of them sought the owner of void flow thunder force with good intentions. Without any change in expression or eye, she simply shook her head lightly. Jang Fan's heart surged with tumultuous waves. Feiju had once said that someone was offering a sky-ascending pill that could break through the nascent soul realm as a reward for one who knew void flow thunder force. That person was a giant in the divinity transformation realm, and that person was Venerate Zini right before his eyes. Luckily, Jang Fan had weathered many great storms, and despite the immense shock inside, he maintained a nonchalant exterior, even forcibly controlling the rhythm of his heartbeat. He hadn't forgotten that just a quickened heartbeat once alerted the Jiangshan first-class building owner, a 5 apertures nascent soul. Let alone in the presence of the divinity transformation Venerate. Any slight anomaly would be caught by his eyes. It doesn't matter if you won't admit it. I shall investigate myself. He looked towards Yu Peiyuan, his gaze calm yet exuding an imposing pressure. Yu Peiyuan's face showed traces of pain, her spiritual power being forced out, while her unseen divination talent manifested in a few divining copper coins, hovering above her head. Nascent soul 9th layer perfection, divination talent, without void flow 5 forces. Jang Fan was stunned. This is the means of the divinity transformation realm. Just a glance can force a person's background entirely out. Venerate Zini then looked at concubine Xianxia, and with just a glance, concubine Xianxia groaned in pain. Demon power surged out, and 9 fox tails behind her uncontrollably spread open, a beautiful silver fox phantom floating out. Venerate Zini showed a hint of surprise. Heavenly fox bloodline, too bad it's too thin, a bit thicker, and I might consider bringing you back as an offering to the young emperor. He shifted his gaze finally to Jang Fan. Let me see you, coming from the continent yet outshining the 3 god sect and 7 great sects. You are quite suspicious. Fan felt endless waves stirring in his heart, but his face remained calm and he said, "Please, senior, examine me." Venerate Zini did not abandon the examination because Jang Fan was so composed. His gaze fell on Jang Fan. Jang Fan immediately felt as if a mountain was pressing down on him, causing him immense pain. The power within him surged uncontrollably to resist this force. But he had just used the execution pen and all his strength was completely depleted. Where could he draw out any strength? He was immediately forced to the ground by the pressure of this gaze. Venerate Zini frowned slightly. "Why is your body empty?" Jang Fan showed a pained expression and with clasped hands replied, "Reporting to Senior, we were pursued and our spiritual power and physique were completely exhausted. Allow me to recover a bit, and it won't be too late for Senior to check again. If Senior cannot wait, granting me a panacea for rapid recovery would also do." Venerate Zini said indifferently, "Go and rest on the sidelines." He wasn't certain if he had sensed it wrong in the first place. Now he was merely checking on a whim. How could he waste precious recovery spirit pills on a disciple without any background? What would be wasted would yield no particular favor. Jang Fan felt as if he had received a great reprieve. He secretly rejoiced, thankful that he had used the execution pen to deplete the void flow thunder force and fire force. Otherwise, he would have been in a great deal of trouble this time. "Then, Senior, could we go in first? It would be a waste to squander the opportunity of being the first to arrive with great difficulty." Venerate Zini glanced at Jang Fan with a slight hesitation, unwillingly saying, "I promised publicly that the first to ascend the heavenly ascending ancient road would be taken as my disciple. Are you willing to take me as your master?" In truth, he intended to accept disciples from the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. Firstly, because their disciples are meticulously cultivated by the sect and well-rounded in all aspects, requiring little effort to nurture from the start. Secondly, more importantly, if he accepted a disciple from the divine sect, his relationship with that sect would naturally become extremely harmonious. Wouldn't it be easier to mobilize their disciples to find a practitioner of the Void Flow Thunder Force? Unexpectedly, the first to arrive was a disciple of a minor sect from such a remote place on the continent. Taking him in would mean having to retrain him from scratch and offer no leverage on his sect's strength. Yet, having boasted in front of the people of Pugang State, he could not go back on his word. Jang Fan felt a jolt in his heart, becoming Venerate Zinni's disciple. It would be fine for a day or two, but over time, how could Venerate Zinni not discover the anomalies within him? Once discovered, the master-disciple relationship wouldn't protect him at all. He would surely be smashed to pieces instantly. But refusing directly would offend him, so after much thought, he could only tactfully say, "I'm honored by Venerate Zinni's high regard. But I have already entered the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. If I switch to a senior sect, it would be akin to betraying my masters and elders, wouldn't it? Having a disciple like me would affect your reputation, right?" Upon hearing this, Venerate Zinni was immediately delighted. He thought Jang Fan would surely become his disciple. After all, being a disciple under a venerable is something even many nascent soul experts dream of. Who would have thought someone would refuse? He naturally went along with the flow. "All right then, since you already have a master, I won't insist. Let's just say I never mentioned it." Suddenly, he looked into the depths of the blood-colored curtain, his eyes turned slightly, almost forgot. The reason he was accepting the first to ascend the heavenly ascending ancient road was also that he wanted something inside. Something even the young emperor is looking for. If he couldn't find a practitioner of the Void Flow Thunder Force, this item would be his way of making amends. But if he didn't accept Jang Fan as a disciple, on what grounds could he request the item Jang Fan obtained? Forcefully demand it, or ambush and seize it? After all, this wasn't the heavenly state where every move was monitored by two venerates and a Bodhisattva. Some things were better done with restraint. His gaze shifted and he said, "Forget it, since I've made a bold claim, how can I not keep my promise? Considering you have a master, I will accept you as an honorary disciple. You will still be part of your Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion while maintaining a nominal master-disciple relationship with me. Whenever you or I no longer wish it, a simple word will sever the tie." Jang Fan thought rapidly. Clearly, Venerate Zinni did not want to accept him as a disciple either. Why did he change his mind? But an honorary disciple didn't need to stay by Venerate Zinni's side. Having or not having this master didn't make much difference, so there was no worry about exposing the Void Flow Thunder Force. Even at critical moments, he could flaunt the title of honorary disciple to bluff people. Moreover, Venerate Zinni likely wouldn't allow him to refuse again. So after weighing the pros and cons, he confirmed that the advantages outweighed the disadvantages and happily clasped his hands and said, "Disciple Jang Fan pays respect to Master Zin Nai." Feng Zinni nodded with a smile. "Good disciple, no need for formalities." He thought for a moment, then casually took out a bottle of spiritual liquid from his sleeve. "Take it and break through to the 9th layer perfection of core formation. Consider it a small meeting gift from your master. A venerable only gives this. It's even less valuable than the spiritual meat he gave away. No wonder as an honorary disciple the benefits were just nominal. There wasn't much to gain. Don't think it's little. Once you help me obtain the ancient token, more will be given." Venerate Zinni probably felt it was a bit stingy and added. Jang Fan's heart was moved. So did this old fellow have ulterior motives for insisting on making him an honorary disciple? He clasped his hands and asked, "Master, may I ask what the ancient token is?" Venerate Zinni pointed to the figure on the throne and said, "You are first in the lineage in hunting. When you stand before him, he will give you a token. That is the ancient token." The implication was that Venerate Zinni was now coveting Jang Fan's prize for being first in the hunting ground. He snorted coldly in his heart. Just an honorary disciple and he wanted to swap for his reward. What a calculation. "Yes, master." Jang Fan nodded calmly. First, obtain the token. He always felt the arrival on the heavenly ascending ancient road was strange. Things might not be as easy as they seemed. So after a pause, he continued, "Master, going in without any strength, won't it be dangerous?" Venerate Zinni snorted coldly and sighed, naturally understanding that Jang Fan was taking the opportunity to ask for benefits. However, Jang Fan didn't need to remind him. He already planned to give him some. Without some power, Jang Fan probably couldn't even stand properly in front of that throne. Immediately, he painfully took out a gold-shining spirit pill, radiating intense spiritual pressure. It was a 5th-grade spirit pill. The best Jang Fan could currently make was a 4th-grade spirit pill. Even he found it challenging to obtain this pill. Swallow one, and not only will it restore all your strength, but it will also boost your power in all aspects by 20%. I see you should have the physique of a peak nascent soul. After taking it, your physique should reach the level of a second stage nascent soul. Go on! Jang Fan's heart raced wildly, having the physique of a second stage nascent soul before undergoing a tribulation. What level would his physique reach after a dual golden core tribulation? Would his internal void flow thunder force, fire force, and even spiritual power increase? He hesitated no longer and swallowed it in one go. Without waiting for the power within him to begin recovering, he said, "Your disciple is going in first." He dared not recover his strength in front of Venerate Zinni, lest the void flow thunder force be exposed, which would lead to serious trouble. Venerate Zinni was eager for Jang Fan to proceed, nodding, and said, "Don't be nervous. The one in front used to be a divinity transformation venerable from Central Earth, and won't do anything to you." Used to be. Jang Fan's eyes showed contemplation. What did that mean? With trepidation, Jang Fan stepped through the red light screen with Yu Peiyuan's support. Step by step, he walked forward. By the time he reached the throne with the help of the 5th grade spirit pill, his inner strength had been restored by 60%. The person on the throne was finally clear to see. It was a divinity transformation venerable, with a dim halo on the back of his head, his body exuding a foul odor, as if beginning to rot. He slowly opened his eyes, which were also very cloudy, like those of an old man, but there was an undisguisable joy in his eyes. "Congratulations on becoming the champion of the Linean hunting. You can receive 3 rewards. First, an ancient token. Second, a spirit pill from the heaven furnace. Third, a set of corpse carving cultivation technique." There was no hint of excitement in Jang Fan's eyes. He simply stared at the divinity transformation venerable in front of him and said, "Senior, may I ask you a question?" The divinity transformation venerable smiled and said, "According to the rules, you can't. But, considering that I was also once a venerate of Central Earth, I will make an exception to answer one question for you. Ask away." Jang Fan said, "I heard that you once died but are now alive again." The divinity transformation venerable fell silent and after a while sighed. "Another person peeking into the mystery of resurrection. It seems there is also someone you wish to bring back to life. Just like I was back then." Jang Fan's heart moved slightly. "Then, Senior, did you succeed?" The divinity transformation venerable looked at Jang Fan with a complex expression and said, "Whether there is resurrection in this world, I think, like I was back then, you have come with the answer. Dust to dust, earth to earth, let everything go." The flame in Jang Fan's eyes was instantly extinguished, his eyes becoming dim and lifeless. A sense of helplessness rose in his heart, the last bit of luck shattered. Yu Peiyuan then realized that Jang Fan had come here for the secret of resurrection. Did he recently lose someone very important? A trace of reluctance crossed her heart. This answer failed Jang Fan after such a perilous journey. "Senior, why did you come back to life?" Yu Peiyuan asked, voicing Jang Fan's doubt. The divinity transformation venerable said indifferently, "I didn't die back then. There was still a wisp of remnant soul left. It was my master who saved me, gave me new life, and put me in charge of the Linean hunting ground." He looked at Jang Fan again, joy overflowing in his eyes. "Quickly choose your rewards." Central Earth was not supposed to have a Linean hunting ground appear. It was a great sage-level ancient demon mirage causing chaos that mistakenly caused it to appear in Central Earth. Take what's yours before everything is corrected. There won't be another chance like this in the future. Jang Fan pulled himself together slightly, looked around at the corpses of the strong all over the ground, and saw the complex cultivation techniques on them, unable to choose a moment. "Could I ask Senior to choose one for me?" The divinity transformation venerable nodded lightly, raised his hand, and summoned. An unimposing ancient corpse lying on the ground floated over. This person once participated in the Linean hunting, perishing here, was a citizen of the heavenly court, cultivated the Emperor's gaze technique, of heaven level. Mastering this technique, one could discern the spiritual mountain-blessed land, absorb the fortune of heaven and earth, and even intercept others' fortunes for oneself and easily achieve greatness. The downside is this technique defies divine will. After reaching the divinity transformation realm, there will be backlash. Jang Fan was taken aback. This Emperor's gaze technique was truly domineering. As for the backlash after reaching the divinity transformation realm, asking how many can reach that realm. Additionally, the divinity transformation venerable appeared regretful. The technique chooses its practitioners. Not everyone can cultivate it. It requires someone blessed by heaven to practice. Others find it hard to enter. Really? Jang Fan was a bit skeptical. He couldn't believe his own comprehension couldn't master this technique. But to his surprise, when he focused on the corpse carving cultivation technique, the script on it began to blur, not giving him a chance to comprehend. Jang Fan had never encountered a cultivation technique he couldn't comprehend before. Regretfully, the Divinity Transformation Venerable said, "It seems this technique does not suit you." Jang Fan was unwilling and said, "Can I take the technique back with me? The technique personally chosen by the Divinity Transformation Venerable must be the best here. If he couldn't practice it, he could take it back and let concubine Xianxia try it." The Divinity Transformation Venerable flicked his fingers, and the corpse flew towards Jang Fan. "Take it." Jang Fan immediately stowed it away. Then he looked at the pill furnace spewing colorful clouds and said, "Senior, about the pill furnace." The Divinity Transformation Venerable said, "There are many spirit pills inside, mostly 5th grade spirit pills with a few 6th grade spirit pills. But it will only reward you one at random. Its effect unknown, it's up to your luck. Though I am in charge here, I cannot sway the heaven furnace." 6th grade? Jang Fan showed slight shock under the Divinity Transformation Venerable's guidance. He approached the heaven furnace. Sensing the blood-colored column of light behind him, the inside of the heaven furnace began to rumble, emitting the sound of countless pills rolling. Then, a red pill flew out, landing in front of Jang Fan. The Divinity Transformation Venerable was surprised. "Good luck, it's a spirit pill for raising the nascent soul realm cultivation. Its effect is not far from the dragon marrow seed. If the nascent soul early-stage cultivation is deep enough, breaking through a realm isn't hard. It's one of the finest spirit pills from the heaven furnace." Only 5th grade, though, Jang Fan sighed. It seemed his luck was quite ordinary. Suddenly, Jang Fan remembered something, curiously asking, "Senior, what is a dragon marrow seed?" He had always wanted to ask someone about the mysterious beans he found in the Divinity Transformation relics. The spiritual energy within them was so immense. Consuming them even at the core formation realm risked self-explosion. But since they were a Divinity Transformation relic, he didn't know who to consult for answers. The senior in front of him might be someone to ask. The Divinity Transformation Venerable smiled. "Dragon marrow seeds were already extinct in Central Earth when I was alive. Don't even think about it." After a pause, he casually pointed out a light image. "Fine, let me show you as a token for your thoughts." The light image condensed into a clear picture. It was a small bean the size of a pinky, entirely crystalline, like tiny jade pearls. Jang Fan's heart surged with waves of emotions. So those stacks of beans were the extinct dragon marrow seeds. He showed no expression, merely bowed and thanked. "Thank you for the guidance, Senior." The Divinity Transformation Venerable shook his head. "No need to thank me." Then he turned to Yu Peiyuan. "Though you're not first, you did make it into the top 3 and have a chance to get a spirit pill." Yu Peiyuan was overjoyed. She quickly went to the heaven furnace, using her talent for sensing luck, suddenly casting a spell at a certain time. With a bang, a snow-white rabbit, glistening with layers of light, spat out from the heaven furnace and bolted away. The Divinity Transformation Venerable was amazed. "A 6th grade spirit pill? Such luck, girl." He raised a hand to capture the snow rabbit, and with a grasp of his fingers, the rabbit turned into a spirit pill entirely snow-white, with the faint image of a small white rabbit running inside. "It's an ancestor returning pill. If your ancestors had a certain powerful bloodline, consuming this pill may enhance that bloodline. Girl, you are incredibly lucky. It might defy fate for you." Yu Peiyuan was overjoyed, quickly cupping it with both hands. "Thank you, Senior." The Divinity Transformation Venerable finally looked at Jang Fan and said, "Next is the crucial ancient token. With this token, you will have the opportunity in the future to participate in the ancient wilderness hunting. It's a grander and more magnificent hunting ground than the Linean hunting ground. The prey is even more dangerous, starting from the nascent soul realm, with even some at the Divinity Transformation realm." Fan couldn't believe his ears. There was actually a prey of the Divinity Transformation realm. The Divinity Transformation Venerable's eyes shone brightly, saying, "Boy, you must seize this opportunity. We in the Central Earth originally had no qualifications to participate in the Linean hunting, let alone have the fortune to join the ancient wilderness hunting. Since by a twist of fate, the hunting opportunity fell upon us in Central Earth. Remember to seize the opportunity. Perhaps this will be the chance for us in Central Earth to change our destiny. It's also the moment for you personally to change your fate. As he spoke, his emotions became abnormally excited, as if he wished he could take Jang Fan's place and cherish this opportunity. Change destiny. Jang Fan didn't understand, but something that even the young emperor couldn't find was naturally extremely precious. "Okay, senior," he replied. The divinity transformation venerable took out an ancient, light yellow token with the words "ancient token" engraved on the front. A faint ticking sound came from within, as if calculating time. He caressed the token, his eyes filled with hope, even with a hint of tears. "When I discovered the Linglang hunting ground appeared in Central Earth, do you know how happy and excited I was? The fate of our Central Earth is entirely on this token. No matter what, you must take good care of it and aim to win first place in the next ancient wilderness hunting. I'm begging you for our clan." He rose from the throne and bowed to Jang Fan. It was only then that Jang Fan realized the ancient token was far more significant than he imagined. He immediately returned the bow, saying, "Although I don't understand what's going on, I will give it my all as the junior." He took the ancient token with both hands. Out of the corner of his eye, he inadvertently noticed Venerate Zinni behind him pacing anxiously, eager to break through the blood-red screen, causing his heart to shudder. He whispered, "Senior, that divinity transformation person behind me wants to seize this token. What should I do?" The divinity transformation venerable glanced at Venerate Zinni, slightly frowned, but helplessly said, "I cannot leave within the blood-red screen. You'll have to find a way to deal with it yourself." Jang Fan pondered for a moment. A thought flashed through his mind. He discreetly hid the ancient token in his bosom, then quietly took out memory silver sand to make a copy of it. The real ancient token was placed into the heavenly thunder stone. He wasn't sure if the memory silver sand could deceive Venerate Zinni's probing. "All right, senior, I'll have to give it a try," Jang Fan said, cupping his hands. If no other option, he would have to hand over the ancient token and get some benefits from Venerate Zinni. After all, as long as a strong person participates in the ancient wilderness hunting and wins first place, it didn't necessarily have to be Jang Fan. The divinity transformation venerable nodded. "Go then. I hope you can get through this crisis." Jang Fan waved to Yu Peiyuan, who hadn't moved. "Senior sister Yu, we should leave." But Yu Peiyuan still stood there. Her face displayed a trace of panic. She couldn't move or speak, her lips slightly trembling as if wanting to say something but couldn't open her mouth. Her eyes darted left and right, frantically signaling Jang Fan. Jang Fan's heart trembled and he shouted, "Senior, what's wrong with her?" "Something's amiss. There must be something wrong." He had long felt that the fog covering Teikang State, bringing the Linglang hunting, felt like a pie falling from the sky. Now seeing Yu Peiyuan acting as if possessed confirmed his suspicions. Quickly leave the heavenly ascending ancient road. Without hesitation, he dashed over, hoisted her onto his shoulders, then employed Cloud Shadow, decisively running towards the edge of the blood-red screen. But who would have thought? Letter 1D65B, letter 1D493, letter 1D4E, letter 1D65A, letter 1D500, letter 1D486. Letter 1D658, letter 1D490, letter 1D4AT, just as he soared into the air. He was shocked to find his entire power was suddenly confined. He fell from the sky, just like Yu Peiyuan, unable to move, unable to speak. Simultaneously, a chilling sensation came from the blood-red pillar behind him, out of the corner of his eye. In the blood-red pillar was a blood-red tentacle invisible to the naked eye, like a thin iron wire worm. Therefore, it couldn't be detected at all. He and Yu Peiyuan could not move because they were entangled by this iron worm. A slight touch, and they lost all power. The face of the divinity transformation venerable changed dramatically. Recognizing it, he exclaimed, "Tentacle of the ancient demon Mirage?" No sooner said than done. He extended 2 pitch-black lines with a flick. To be precise, these were cracks where the space was cut open. The 2 black cracks each slashed towards the blood-red pillar behind Jang Fan and Yu Peiyuan, just about to sever the tentacles. Boom! The bronze ground suddenly quaked violently. Large cracks appeared on the ground as if something beneath attempted to crash upwards. Mist seeped through the cracks. The pupils of the divinity transformation venerable contracted sharply. "It's that ancient demon Mirage. It has always been attached below the Linglang hunting ground, following it to the central Earth world. What is it planning?" And just as the 2 black blades were about to sever the blood-red pillar, with a muffled thud, a gigantic insect head wrapped in mist, visible only as a dark shadow, emerged, using its head to block the 2 black blades. Clang, clang. The strike from a divinity transformation realm hit its head, yet it sounded like metal clashing. Seizing the opportunity, The thread hidden in the blood-red pillar behind Jang Fan moved, at lightning speed, diving into Jang Fan's bosom, then swiftly pulled out a token. Seeing this, the divinity transformation venerable roared angrily, "Ancient demon mirage, you're after the ancient token. No wonder you sent the Linglang hunting ground to the central Earth world. This way, you wouldn't be discovered while secretly seizing the ancient token." The Linglang hunting ground was supposed to appear in a powerful world, filled with masters. The ancient demon mirage had no chance to hide like this, unnoticed. So, taking advantage of central Earth world's connection to the outside, it brought the Linglang hunting ground here. Waiting until the people here obtained the ancient token, it immediately acted to seize it. "Drop it!" The divinity transformation venerable shouted angrily as he struck. The true form of the ancient demon mirage couldn't enter the central Earth world. Only an avatar came. But it was also divinity transformation. Roar! The demon mirage avatar roared low, then fully emerged from the ground. A mysterious insect silhouette, 1,000 feet long, shrouded in mist, emerged. Tentacles extended from either side of its body, each tentacle connected to a blood-red pillar. Originally used to record participants' hunting scores, the pillars became tools for the ancient demon Mirage's avatar, quietly controlling all the disciples. At this moment, as it soared into the sky, those disciples still fighting on the stone steps were simultaneously frozen, like marionettes being pulled out, flailing amidst the battle between the demon Mirage and the divinity transformation venerable. Bang, bang! Jang Fan's heart thumped as he witnessed the disciples, controlled, explode one after another. Their blood and flesh were absorbed by the tentacles, becoming the power for the ancient demon Mirage's avatar. Jang Fan was terrified. Desperately trying to break free, he realized that Void Flow Thunder Force and Void Flow Fire Force seemed unaffected. But with Venerate Zinni nearby, once used, even if he survived by luck, he couldn't escape his clutches. What chilled Jang Fan was that Venerate Zinni didn't care about his survival at all. Only fixedly watching the divinity transformation venerable and the ancient demon Mirage's avatar fight over the ancient token. But this was for the best. If he truly cared for Jang Fan as a master, things would be difficult for Jang Fan in the future. Just then, a cold sensation came. The tentacle was about to attack Jang Fan. Reliable critical moment. 2 white ribbons swept in from outside the blood-red light screen, simultaneously wrapping around Jang Fan and Yu Peiyuan. Its concubine Xianxia. She seized the moment when the ancient demon Mirage's avatar was too preoccupied to care, decisively entangling the two and forcefully pulling them out of the blood-red light screen. Then she promptly poured the jar containing the purple flame onto the 2 blood-red beams. Sizzle! The hidden tentacles inside immediately released their grip, retreating into the body of the demon Mirage. Jang Fan and Yu Peiyuan instantly regained their mobility. Still shaken, Jang Fan urgently activated the cloud shadow, wrapping his left arm around concubine Xianxia and holding Yu Peiyuan's hand with his right, swiftly escaping 1,000 feet away. Originally able to cover 2,000 feet in a breath, he controlled the distance considering Venerate Zinni might suspect it was aided by Void Flow Thunder Force. However, his concerns were unnecessary. Venerate Zinni's mind was entirely focused on the ancient token, not giving Jang Fan a second glance. A moment later, the ancient demon Mirage's avatar, continuously absorbing the disciples' essence blood, grew stronger and was undefeated by the divinity transformation venerable despite prolonged engagement. Just at this moment, dark clouds suddenly appeared in the sky. A phoenix engulfed in flames broke through the clouds, diving down towards the ancient demon Mirage's avatar. In an instant, the 1,000-foot-long giant worm began to burn. Countless tentacles were severed instantly, and the disciples, lucky to survive, scattered to escape. The ancient demon Mirage's avatar roared angrily at the sky's clouds, then plunged back under the bronze ground. The divinity transformation venerable's power was confined to this place, unable to probe below. "Damn it! That cunning creature snatched the ancient token and fled." From within the clouds came a woman's cool voice. "Ling Zuzi, forget about the ancient token. Quickly take it away from the central Earth. If it remains here, no one in Taikang State can deal with it." Ling Zuzi looked up and said, "Thank you." Then he glanced coldly at Venerate Zinni. After all, someone not from Taikang State dares to coldly watch as many of Taikang's elites are slaughtered. If Venerate Zinni had acted earlier, the number of sacrificed disciples would have been much less. Damn that old thing, who only cared about the ancient token, waiting to reap benefits when both sides were exhausted. He didn't regard those younger generations at all. You should keep a close eye on him, all of you divinity transformations and that Bodhisattva from Taking in the future. He's no good. Within the clouds, the cool woman nodded. Yes, Ling Xuzi. With a wave of his hand, Ling Xuzi caused thousands of steps to overlap, and the remaining beings in the space were ejected one by one. Finally, the heavenly ascending ancient road merged into a triangular shape, resembling the triangular great hall of the Wu Gu altar. It was then that everyone noticed with contracted pupils. At the base of the hall lay a 1,000-foot-long giant beast hidden in the mist. With the activation of the hall breaking through the void, it left along with it. Within the clouds, the cool woman waved her hand. Countless remains gathered before Venerate Zinni. Out of the over 200 disciples participating in the heavenly ascending ancient road, at least 80 died, including Left Dao Nascent Soul members from the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. The losses were extraordinarily severe. Venerate Zinni, though you're not from Taikang State, you are from the Central Earth, aren't you? Why could you watch them be brutally killed by outside ferocious spirits with open eyes? The cool woman's voice was full of dissatisfaction. If she hadn't arrived in time, wouldn't they all have perished? Venerate Zinni said indifferently, I don't owe you anything, no obligation. Having said this, he made no further explanations nor glanced at the piles of remains in front, turning to leave. Within the clouds, 2 eyes filled with tangible anger pierced through the clouds. At this moment, a violent muffled noise suddenly came from the void space where the Linian hunting ground had departed. One tentacle after another tried to forcibly pry open the void. Ultimately powerless, the tentacles were cut off by the void fissures. Roar! From the other side of the void came the faint, angry roar of the ancient demon Mirage avatar. Evidently, it finally realized it had been fooled. All its efforts only yielded a piece of memory silver sand, not the ancient token. After calculating everything, it was outwitted by a member of the Little People clan. Who wouldn't rage? The woman in the clouds silently watched the ancient demon Mirage avatar, which repeatedly smashed into the void for a full hour before roaring away, lost in thought. It got this angry. Is there anyone else who can cause it to suffer at this time? Jang Fan had escorted Yu Peiyuan to several hundred miles away from the stone steps. Senior Sister Yu, I will escort you only this far. The area in front of the stone steps should be in chaos now, with strong figures from various sects and teachings concerned about the disciples' situations. As an outsider disciple, it was wiser for him not to join them. Yu Peiyuan understood his concerns, bowing deeply and saying, Thank you, junior brother Jiang, thank you, sister. Each of you saved my life once. Without hesitation, she took out the 6th grade ancestor returning pill and handed it to concubine Xianxia, saying, Sister, I'll give you the ancestor returning pill, hoping it can help you condense the heavenly fox bloodline. Letter 1D487, letter 1D4FB, letter 1D4E, letter 1D4E, letter 1D66C, letter 1D65A. Letter 1D4EC, letter 1D4F8, letter 1D4AT. She had heard Venerate Zinni's words earlier, too. Concubine Xianxia politely declined. This pill is precious and I can't accept it. Keep it for yourself or sell it to someone who needs it. Yu Peiyuan shook her head. If I don't repay your kindness for saving my life, I'll have a mental burden. Concubine Xianxia looked hesitantly at Jang Fan. Jang Fan thought about it and said, Then accept it. He then took out the 5th grade spirit pill and handed it to Yu Peiyuan. Mutual gift exchange. Although not as precious as the ancestor returning pill, I believe it's what you currently need most. If your master Qi Yin master leaves you the tribulation crossing opportunity, keep this pill and use it after reaching nascent soul. If he decides to leave the opportunity to someone else, exchange this pill for the tribulation crossing opportunity. Yu Peiyuan rejoiced immensely. Holding the ancestor returning pill, she might not be able to exchange it for a tribulation crossing opportunity. But this 5th grade spirit pill could guarantee her securing that opportunity in terms of practicality, surpassing the ancestor returning pill. She not only repaid the favor but also secured a tribulation crossing opportunity. A win-win. Thank you, junior brother Jiang, she said happily and accepted it. Concubine Xianxia no longer hesitated and accepted the ancestor returning pill, her eyes revealing traces of joy. If it truly enhances the heavenly fox bloodline, she could keep pace with Jang Fan and become his virtuous companion. Then we'll meet again. Yu Peiyuan waved with delight and left. Jang Fan watched with a slight smile, saying, I wish you all the best. Concubine Xianxia noticed this, and it seemed Jang Fan had become more unwilling and longing for kind people and things after the Ling Shu incident. Afraid of losing again, she softly suggested, "When we go to Taikang State, let's interact more with Miss Yu. Kind people deserve kindness." Jang Fan looked at concubine Xianxia. This woman always read his heart first. Then, like a spring breeze, she comforted him silently and gently. He thought about it and said, "Xianxia, I'll give you a moon realm. You can contact me whenever you want." He intended to probe the heavenly thunder stone, but as he did, his expression suddenly froze. "My moon realm is missing a piece." Originally, there were still 2 pieces of the moon realm left. But in the heavenly thunder stone, there's only 1 piece left now. He remembered that he once planned to give Chen Silin a piece, but the latter, worried that the moon venerate would use the moon realm to take away the remaining moon fragments, refused it. At that time, he seemed to have casually put it in his sleeve. He hurriedly reached into his sleeves, which were empty. This made Jang Fan's heart skip a beat. The moon realm dropped. Did it fall in one of the 10,000 spaces on the heavenly ascending ancient road? Or did it drop when the ancient demon Mirage's clone shook it in midair? But the heavenly ascending ancient road has already disappeared. Where can he find it? His expression fluctuated uncertainly. When concubine Xianxia learned about this, her expression also turned serious. If it's only on the stone steps of the heavenly ascending ancient road, that's still manageable. But if it was picked up by a disciple of an outer realm divine sect, then it would be endless trouble. In the future, he could see all the exchanges in your team. Jang Fan was worried about this very thing. His eyes showed a hint of somberness. "I hope no one found it. If someone did, I will find a way to track them down. Let's return to the continent first. I should accompany Ling Shu and also prepare for the final tribulation crossing." Concubine Xianxia's eyes gleamed slightly. After the battle on the heavenly ascending ancient road, Jang Fan finally pulled himself together. She tightened her grip on Jang Fan's arm. "Yes, let's go back. Everyone is waiting for you." Meanwhile, a fragment exuding a faint moonlight glow lay quietly on the ground, surrounded by debris. Above this place once lay the end of the heavenly ascending ancient road, that bronze land. A gentle breeze whisked by, gathering up the scattered remnants on the ground. The bright jade fragment was lightly picked up by a white hand as smooth as cream. The fragment mirrored the silhouette of a beautiful woman. Vaguely, a white ring seemed to flash behind her, at the entrance of the heavenly ascending ancient road. The great Yin sect master with a dark face said, "Who on earth is this number 888? My disciple was on the verge of reaching the top, yet he was overtaken." The master of Wan Jai Temple also wore a steady expression. He scanned the rest of the grand sect leaders and said, "Whose disciple is this? Just admit it. Nurturing a mysterious disciple isn't shameful. My 10,000 tribulations holy temple admitted defeat, but at least let me know what kind of genius we lost to." Just from a position outside the 20th, within a few 2-hour periods, he stormed to the first place. This strength is simply too outrageous, isn't it? Many leaders of grand sects shook their heads. "Don't look at me, this person's strength likely reached the nascent soul realm, even fiercer than the average one-orifice nascent soul. We at the Jiangshan first-class building don't have such people either. Nor is it from my Sanking Mountain. If we had such a disciple, we would have shown him long ago." The 3 divine sects and 7 great sects, and all the recognizable sect names reviewed once over. But none of them matched up. Chenjing Master found it inconceivable. Could it be that there really is someone at the nascent soul realm who snuck in? He stared again at the rankings and quickly found something unusual. Pointing to the number 22 in second place, he said, "Qi Yin Master, I recall you mentioned earlier that this is your disciple, Yu Peiyuan." Her rank soared alongside this number 888. Assuming that's the case, Yu Peiyuan was likely carried along by this person on a wild sprint upward. Your heaven and sea pavilion might as well come clean. He was somewhat shocked internally. Someone at the core formation realm, surprisingly exhibiting one-orifice nascent soul strength. During his time, he was nowhere near this capable, truly unsure how such a disciple was trained. The great Yin sect master, the master of Wan Jai Temple, Sanking Mountain Dao leader, and others surrounded the Tianya Sea Pavilion master collectively. "You hit it quite well, having a disciple like this actually unnoticed by everyone. Bring him out for us to see, we won't eat him. Why hide and conceal? Afraid he's taken away by the Dharma seal Vajra?" The Tianya Sea Pavilion master was extremely wronged, forcing a bitter smile. "You all are really mistaken. This person is definitely not from my heaven and sea pavilion." He turned his head to the pondering Qi Yin master beside him. Qi Yin Pei Yuan is your disciple. You tell us what happened. A multitude of intense gazes sharply fixed on him. They were all great powerhouses with 6 or 7 orifices. Under such attention, even Qi Yin Master couldn't help feeling nervous. He was in a tight spot, saying, I think I know who it is, but I'm not certain. I don't dare to guess recklessly. I'll have to wait for my disciple to return to confirm. He highly suspected it was Jang Fan, as he had witnessed Jang Fan's prowess. Moreover, he had entrusted Jang Fan to look after his disciple. However, this number 888 displayed extraordinary strength, far more powerful than Jang Fan's battle in front of the White Horse Temple, thus leaving him uncertified. At this moment, Yu Peiyuan returned happily. Master, I'm back. Letter 1D4, 1F, letter 1D563, letter 1D556, letter 1D4, 1E, letter 1D430, letter 1D556. Letter 1D5F0, letter 1D428, letter 1D426. Why are there so many people? Seeing her master and pavilion master surrounded by many sect leaders, she felt an ominous sense immediately. Swish, swish, swish. Countless gazes instantly focused on her, scaring her like a startled little lamb. She shrank back. Letter 1D5F3, letter 1D42B, letter 1D6AT, letter 1D5F2, letter 1D6A0, letter 1D6AT. Letter 1D5F0, letter 1D5FC, letter 1D5FA. Elder leaders. Have I made a mistake? The Tiania C Pavilion Master rose to the front, surprised, and scrutinized her, saying, Yu Peiyuan, let me ask you, was there someone who brought you to the end of the heavenly ascending ancient road? Yu Peiyuan dared not hide from the Pavilion Master, honestly replied. Reporting to the Pavilion Master, yes. He took me to the end where I met that divinity transformation senior. I even received a reward of a spirit pill. What? Even got a benefit. And it's a spirit pill from the celestial furnace, no less than 5th grade. If she received a spirit pill, wouldn't that number 888 person receive even more? The great Yin sect master looked fervently. Yu Peiyuan, tell the sect master which divine sect or great sect does this person belong to? They care about who the first place is, not merely to see what this person looks like, but also to know his gains, and pay attention to whether he had been taken as a disciple by Venerate Zinni. Yu Peiyuan thought of the Feng Yuan sect from the great Yin sect. The Feng Yuan sect clearly watched them succeed in their ascent. Even if she wanted to hide, she couldn't, might as well tell the truth and preemptively address potential troubles for Jang Fan. He isn't from our Pugang state. As soon as she said this, the entire hall was in an uproar. Not from the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects, and even not from any major sects, but rather a non-Pugang state disciple. Chen Jing Master shook his head, lightly laughing as he asked, could it be that this person fabricated an identity to deceive you? Such a peerless talent, stronger than I ever was. Not from our Pugang state could he possibly be from the continent. His smile suddenly froze. Because this time on the heavenly ascending ancient road, there indeed were people from the continent who came. Fan, could it be him? Impossible. A place like the Green Cloud sect already having one true dragon like Nangong Ligun is a miracle seen once in centuries. How could there be another even stronger than him? Yu Peiyuan blinked her eyes and said, it's from the continent. He is called Jang Fan, a disciple of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Chen Jing allowed him to ascend personally. You should know him, right? Chen Jing. What happened to you? She noticed in confusion that Chen Jing was suddenly stunned in place. His eyes were wide open, lost in thought, as if he had heard some unbelievable news. The leaders of the divine sect and many sects, after being stunned for a moment, also exclaimed, a disciple of the continent's Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Did I hear it right? That small, declining sect with only a one-orifice nascent soul left. Their disciple defeated all the meticulously nurtured prodigies of our 3 divine sects and 7 great sects and took the first place. Their chests felt a little tight, unable to accept this result. The great Yin sect master rolled his eyes and said in a deep voice, then what did he get up there? Yu Peiyuan knew they were eyeing Jang Fan's gains and replied, reporting to the senior. Jang Fan received a spirit pill, a set of cultivation techniques, and most importantly, an ancient token. But it was snatched away by a malicious entity in the divinity transformation realm. Snatched away. The great Yin sect master didn't quite believe it and felt he had to inspect it personally. What kind of spirit pill was it? What kind of cultivation technique was it? Letter 1D4BB, letter 1D45F, letter 212F, letter 212F, letter 1D464, letter 1D452, letter 1D44F. Letter 1D4B8, letter 1D45C, letter 1D62E. Was the ancient token really taken? The gazes of several sect leaders flickered with the same thought. Such important treasures cannot be tolerated to be taken by a junior from the continent. Absolutely impossible. However, they did not immediately go to find Jang Fan, because there was still one matter to confirm. The great Yin sect master asked with a gentle smile, "Did the venerate Zinni appear?" Yu Peiyuan inwardly smiled. It was what she most wanted to tell them, she said solemnly. Reporting to the senior, Venerate Zinni has already accepted Jang Fan as a registered disciple and has presented him with spirit pill and treasure herbs. The great Yin sect master and the many sect leaders were shocked at the same time. Venerate Zinni actually accepted Jang Fan as a disciple. Though a registered disciple, it still counts as a master-disciple relationship in name. Plus, with the bestowal of spirit pill and treasure herbs, it doesn't seem like complete disregard. For a moment, everyone was apprehensive and did not dare to plot against him lightly. And soon, they had no time to care about it anymore. Because, as the disciples returned miserably, the bloody massacre that happened above was spread, causing a great chaos. 10 days later, the continent, an endless prairie with a blue sky and leisurely white clouds. Jang Fan crouched in front of a solitary grave, placing the head of the Sky Demon Emperor down. "Ling Shu, I'm back." He stroked the words Ling Shu on the tombstone, his memories returning to when he personally buried her. The sky back then was also this blue. The wind was also gently blowing like this. It all seemed like it just happened yesterday. He sat on the grave, leaning gently against the tombstone, as if leaning against Ling Shu herself. "Ling Shu, I've come to accompany you. But you can't make tea, can't read books, can't hold my hand, can't set horses free or herd sheep. We can only watch the sunrise and sunset together, watch the clouds roll and unfurl. We can only silently count the shooting stars passing by, listen to the silent whispers of the stars. We can only have the bright moon as a companion in our dreams, with the morning light illuminating us when awake. Ling Shu." Letter 1D4, 1F, letter 1D69B, letter 1D556, letter 1D6AT, letter 1D568, letter 1D5F2. Letter 1D4, 1C, letter 1D5FC, letter 1D5FA. "I can only help you achieve half of your dreams. Dear sister," concubine Xianxia's eyes were moist. She departed silently. Several days later, she returned to the Demon Emperor court. The demon race's tribes, under the command of the slave Heart Demon Emperor, were migrating north in an orderly manner. Back then, the Sky Demon Emperor had moved the demon race's tribes from the humid and warm north, richer in resources, to this cold and harsh land, just to control them with resources. Now the slave Heart Demon Emperor aimed to restore order, letting the demon race return to the northern lands that suited them. It can be imagined that soon the tranquil northern lands will bustle once more. "Sister Xianxia, where's the master?" The slave Heart Demon Emperor sensed concubine Xianxia's return and appeared instantly. Concubine Xianxia said, "He is completing his unfinished promise, instructing the tribes of the demon race to bypass that place during migration, not to disturb them." The slave Heart Demon Emperor darkened his eyes, nodding tearfully. Concubine Xianxia looked around and asked, "Where's the sky-devouring tiger demon king?" The slave Heart Demon Emperor's eyes flashed. The Demon Emperor commanded, but it was the sky-devouring tiger demon king who executed the orders. It could hardly be absolved. Still wanted, concubine Xianxia pondered. Did it really manage to escape? So many people present and no one noticed its whereabouts. The slave Heart Demon Emperor shook his head. "It vanished strangely. I asked those present. No one noticed when or how it escaped. Like it evaporated from the human world. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion has also notified the 9 sect to search together. If there's any discovery, I'll kill it myself." Concubine Xianxia silently looked north and softly said, "By the way, also notify the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and the 4 Seas. A month later in the north, Jiang is going to transcend the tribulation." The slave Heart Demon Emperor's mind trembled, showing a trace of excitement. The master is finally going to transcend the tribulation? This is undoubtedly the most significant event on the continent. Several days later, the tranquil Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, most managers and disciples had left. Only a few remained, calm and cold. Xianxia looked at a jade-carved phoenix chair blackened by heavenly tribulation, tilting her head, frowning without words. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion master also frowned without words. He looked at Baiyu's space storage device and horsetail whisk and sighed softly. Baiyu was dead, but the potential risks remained. His death would be investigated by the 10,000 Tribulation's holy temple, and inquiries would inevitably reach the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Moreover, the heavenly mechanism pavilion's migration to the continent would lack the protection of strong ones. Relying on just him and a one-orifice nascent soul could be quite challenging. Pavilion Master, the demon race sent a letter, inviting you to the Fox clan territory in the Northland on the 10th day of the first month. The human clan's Jang Fan will undergo the tribulation on that date and place. Nangong Zioan rushed over upon hearing concubine Xianxia's return. The heavenly mechanism Pavilion Master abruptly put down the item in his hand and took the letter to read carefully. Joy washed over his face, but as he read on, his expression turned serious. Did they give any details about the spirit pill he received? Nangong Zioan withdrew her smile and lowered her head in sadness, saying, "They did. They said he's accompanying Ling Shu." "Let him accompany her well then," said the Pavilion Master softly, setting the emotions aside. "Time will heal his heart's wounds." Liu Qingxian smiled, providing comfort. Since Jang Fan has decided to transcend the tribulation, he must have reconciled his emotions by that time. On the 10th day of the first month, we will all witness Jang Fan overcoming the tribulation together at the Fox clan territory in the Northland. Peaks gathered in the main hall of Sect Master Peak. Everyone was an old acquaintance, with the only new face being the new elder of Heavenly Sword Peak, Na Yunxi. At the third level of core formation, she succeeded Li Qingfeng's position as elder, taking on the rise and fall of one peak. However, today, the sect master and elders were merely present to listen and witness. The 10 supreme elders gathered here to jointly decide on a major matter. Zhuang Yuanian was full of radiant color, having recovered considerably from old injuries, with the third-grade spirit pill personally refined by the heavenly mechanism Pavilion Master. Now, with the news that Jang Fan was about to undergo his tribulation, his spirits were even higher, and he was full of energy. "Ahum, everyone, you've all received the news. The disciple Jang Fan from our sect Master Peak will undergo his tribulation in Northland on the 10th of the first month. This is tremendous news." Watching his exuberant demeanor, Shikaishan rolled his eyes. This old thing only looked agreeable when he was sick and frail. Huang Zhanshan grinned with a mouthful of large yellow teeth. "If his color is this good, it must be his last flash of life, right?" Qin Wangchuan, with an even sharper tongue, said, "At the banquet there must be 18 tables." A pair of envious and jealous eyes did not stop Zhuang Yuanian from showing off, but made him even more complacent. "Supreme elders of each peak, our sect Master Peak has produced a disciple undergoing tribulation. You must all redouble your efforts." Huang Zhanshan couldn't take it any more and snorted, "Let's get to the main issue." Zhuang Yuanian then coughed dryly, regaining his serious expression, and solemnly said, "Gentlemen, regarding the item passed down by our ancestor, I believe it has met someone destined. The ancestor once said that this item could only be passed on to a disciple of true dragon lineage. It requires the approval of all 10 supreme elders of each generation through voting. Now, I wish to pass it on to Jang Fan. I wonder if all the supreme elders agree." Huang Zhanshan raised his hand without a second thought and said, "I agree. I realized his unparalleled comprehension early on when this boy cultivated the sword heart engraving, and then decided to cast my vote for him." Zheng Qiushuang nodded. "I also agree to pass it on to him." Shikaishan snorted. "If not him, then who else?" Qin Wangchuan swung the braid hanging in front of his chest and growled fiercely. "Vote for Jang Fan. Whoever doesn't will have to deal with me." The other supreme elders raised their hands one after another, except for the Supreme Elder of Reincarnation Peak, who did not immediately vote but looked towards Feng Guchen. "Guchen, what do you say?" A few Supreme Elders furrowed their brows. In fact, Green Cloud Sect had produced 2 true dragons over the years. One is Jiang Fan, without a doubt, who makes them proud. But before him, there was another named Nangong Liyun, a prodigy with even greater talent than Yun Tianzhu. He apprenticed under Feng Guchen. Later, he accomplished much and felt that Green Cloud Sect had nothing more to teach, so he crossed the vast sea to Pugang State. Before leaving, he entrusted his sister to the care of Green Cloud Sect, promising to return and repay their nurturing once he learned more. 8 years passed in a flash, and they continually anticipated his return. Yet they never heard from him, until unexpectedly learning that he is now a disciple of a renowned divinity transformation venerable, and they understood why he didn't return. He is now a disciple of a famous divinity transformation venerable in Pugang State. The humble sect origin he comes from is an identity he wished to shed. For years, they did not disturb him. Only Feng Guchen still held expectations for this disciple. Now with the voting, he's probably still thinking about that disciple who left without returning, wanting to reserve the good item passed down from the ancestor for him, isn't he? What's more, Feng Guchen always opposed Sect Master Peak. He would be even less inclined to let Sect Master Peak's disciple get such a benefit. Feng Guchen kept his eyes closed. Upon hearing this, he slowly opened his eyes and said indifferently, "Master, what's there to ask? Of course it's a vote for Jang Fan." Everyone was taken aback. No one expected Feng Guchen to decide this way. As if understanding what everyone was thinking, Feng Guchen's face showed a hint of relief. One who is indifferent to Green Cloud Sect. One who wiped out the entire giant sect in anger for the death of Elder Li Qingfeng. Which one is more qualified to receive the ancestor's item? Does it even need to be said? Li Qingfeng's death deeply affected him as well. After that event, he rarely argued with the elders of the various peaks over resources, and fame and fortune faded in importance to him. Now, he discerned what was right for the greater good. All those present couldn't help but view Feng Guchen with new eyes. The former great elder who was annoying, even to the point of gnashing one's teeth in anger, had changed. Zhuang Yuanian nodded and loudly declared, "Good, since there are no objections, the ancestors' inheritance will be passed to Jiang Fan. On the 10th of the first month, we will gather in Northland, East Sea, beneath the crashing waves." Yizhu Demon Emperor sat atop a high red coral, her pink long dress gently flowing with the water, clinging to her body, accentuating her graceful figure. Her exquisite face, with beautiful eyes gazing at the fish demons rebuilding the East Sea Palace, appeared slightly lost in thought. "Mother, are you thinking about Uncle Jiang?" The sudden voice made her quickly pull back her thoughts. She was indeed thinking about Jiang Fan. She had heard some news about Jiang Fan, suggesting he was facing some difficult matters, which made her worried. Teased by the second crown prince, she couldn't help but feel embarrassed and angry. "I told you not to mention him. Haven't you caused enough misunderstandings?" The second crown prince chuckled. "It's not that I want to mention him. It's because the mainland demon clan sent a letter regarding Uncle Jiang's situation." Before he finished speaking, suddenly his hand was empty as Yizhu Demon Emperor snatched the letter, hastily opening it to read. Her beautiful eyes were instantly filled with joy. "My sworn brother is going to undergo his tribulation. On the 10th of the first month, Demon Race Northland." The second crown prince immediately slapped his thigh. "Oh dear, mother, you should have listened to me back then. Had you married Uncle Jiang, our East Sea would now have 2 nascent souls. Not listening to your son will cost you right in front of your eyes." Yizhu Demon Emperor's willow-like brows instantly arched. She pulled off her shoe and chased him. "You wretch, how dare you talk nonsense?" The second crown prince, running away, said, "I'm not talking nonsense. I heard from the South Sea folks that Uncle Jiang was almost taken by the South Sea Demon Emperor. If you don't pursue Uncle Jiang, naturally others will." Echu South Sea. The old Dream Demon Emperor finished handling the last piece of the day's memorial. Stretching wearily, her smooth, silky dress outlined her perfect curves. A pair of long, slender, and straight legs, white as snow. Suddenly she sneezed without warning. "Is someone thinking of me? Is it Jiang Fan? He wouldn't think of me, it's me thinking of him, right?" Staring at the luminous pearl on the table emitting a soft glow, she recalled the moment they parted. Involuntarily, she pursed her red lips, as if savoring that fleeting goodbye. "I can't think anymore, we are just fleeting passers-by in each other's lives. He is the unexpected rain, and I am the rainbow after rain. We just brushed past each other at the moment when the storm stopped and there was no further intersection." Knock, knock. The sound of knocking came. A royal clan elder excitedly said, "Jiang Fan is here to see you." "What?" She stood up in a panic, her long jade legs bumping into the table, causing everything to wobble, tea spilling over the table. Jiang Fan is here." Her heart was pounding. Her mind was a blank. Letter 1D557, letter 1D5FF, letter 1D556, letter 1D410, letter 1D430, letter 1D5F2. Letter 1D680, letter 1D428, letter 1D696. She hurriedly tugged at the black dress that had creased from sitting too long, and brushed aside the strands of hair that had fallen over her forehead. Flustered, she said, Oh, I'll be right there." Her mind was in chaos, completely at a loss for what to do. Nervously, she approached the door, her palms shaking as she opened it. But outside stood only an elderly member of the imperial family with a seemingly playful smile. He smiled and said, "Sorry, I spilled the beans. A letter from Jiang Fan has arrived." The old Dream Demon Emperor's tense body suddenly relaxed as she leaned against the doorframe, full of embarrassment and annoyance. "Clan Elder, don't joke about Jiang Fan in the future. Her heart was still racing wildly at the moment. Her palms were sweaty. Only heaven knew how scared she had been just now. You've been too tired lately, just playing a joke to lighten your mood. Lighten up. She was nearly scared to death, okay? She really didn't know how to face Jang Fan anymore. Looking at the letter the clan elder handed over, she realized it was in the demon race's language and knew the clan elder was still teasing her. Is this a letter from the demon race? A huge wave of disappointment flooded her heart. The clan elder smiled and said, "It's about Jang Fan." Her disappointed heart started beating again, and she hurriedly opened the letter. On the 10th of January in Northland, Jang Fan will undergo the heavenly tribulation. Her eyes showed surprise. He's undergoing the tribulation so soon? I must go and see. Clan elder, at that time, I'll rely on you 8 elders to take care of matters in the South Sea. The clan elder slightly nodded and said, "Go ahead, stay a few more days if you need to. Just pay attention to safety measures." The old dream demon emperor was stunned. Safety measures? What does that mean? West Sea. The great sun demon emperor held a letter in one hand and rubbed his bald head hard with the other. Unbelievable. Last time he came to me, he was just at the Jiden 8th layer, and now he's about to undergo the tribulation. My sworn brother truly is a dragon among men. Where's the crown prince? Call him over, let him see how diligent his uncle Jiang is in cultivation. An old turtle demon coughed and said, "Reporting to the demon emperor. The crown prince is with the widow octopus in the north and won't be back anytime soon." The great sun demon emperor was infuriated, shouting angrily, "That forgetful fool! The human clan produces true dragons, while we in the West Sea produce nothing but vermin. Jang Fan is facing the heavenly tribulation. He's pursuing women." The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He grabbed an iron rod and roared in anger, "I'll surely break his 3rd leg, North Sea." The tearful demon emperor held a letter from Pugang State, tears streaming down as he read it. The empress rolled her eyes. "What's there to cry about? She's entered a divine sect as a disciple. This is a wonderful thing to celebrate." The tearful demon emperor wiped his tears and nodded repeatedly. You're right, at this moment. Muziu came in with great excitement. "Demon Emperor Empress, a letter from the demon race, Jang Fan, young Master Jiang, will undergo the heavenly tribulation on January 10th in the Northland." What? The empress was incredibly surprised. He's undergoing the tribulation this soon? The tearful demon emperor's eyes just dried, became moist again. Good. My sworn brother has finally reached the day of tribulation as well. I must go and see. Beihua Valley. Demon Moon sealed fresh osmanthus flowers and looked up towards a woman under the peach blossom tree, who was so beautiful she didn't seem of this world, and said, "Mother, Jiang Fan is about to undergo the tribulation. Will he make it through?" Spirit Sound held a brush, dipping it into the light pink ink soaked with peach blossoms. She gently wrote line after line in elegant script. Quietly finishing, she folded the paper and placed it into an envelope, her voice airy. "Concerned about him?" Demon Moon pouted. "I'm worried the lightning might kill him and implicate me," Spirit Sound calmly said. "I don't know either. However, if he succeeds, I can give him a gift." Her beautiful eyes shifted to a shadowy corner of the valley. A gigantic tiger emitted an aura of 9th layer perfection in core formation. It was none other than the sky-devouring tiger demon king who had vanished completely. Pugang State, a clear crescent-shaped lake. In the center of the lake, there was an island. A snow-white tower cast a clear and beautiful reflection on the lake's surface. "Master, were you looking for me?" At the top of the tower, a woman in a pale yellow dress, her skin white as jade, leaned elegantly on a deck chair. She held a book in her hands, reading quietly. The book covered her face, hiding her features. Yet her snow-white, sculpture-like skin and her tall, graceful figure made it hard to look away. But Chen Jing bowed his head, not daring to show a hint of disrespect. Because above the back of her head, a divine ring hovered. She was Chen Jing's master, the true word venerable. "Have you heard about the White Horse Temple incident?" The true word venerable's voice was slow and languid. Chen Jing's face showed a hint of complexity. "I have. Jang Fan of the continent brought the connecting sky black pillar to White Horse Temple, forcing them to expel a demon emperor who had entered Buddhism, and then publicly executed him." The true word venerable commented, "I heard he is from the Green Cloud sect. Is he your fellow disciple?" Comparison is always dreaded. Jang Fan first made his name on the heavenly ascending ancient road, and then there were rumors of him boldly retrieving an enemy at the White Horse Temple, killing right in front of the Bodhisattvas and Vajras. Such achievements were beyond what Chen Jing dared or could accomplish. Embarrassed, he said, "Master, I left the Green Cloud sect 8 years ago. I am no longer considered a disciple, hence not truly his fellow." The true word Venerable set the book down, gently covering her face. "I'm somewhat curious about the Green Cloud sect. Clearly a small sect, yet producing such outstanding disciples." These words, to Chen Jing, felt uncomfortable, one more outstanding than the other. Could Jang Fan be more outstanding than him? Jang Fan hasn't even faced the tribulation yet. "Master, do you think Jang Fan is more outstanding than your disciple?" The true word Venerable remained silent for a while. Usually, a master would comfort the disciple in such inquiries. But the true word Venerable said honestly, "He surpasses you." Chen Jing felt indignant. How could his master think his 4 apertures nascent soul was inferior to a core formation like Jang Fan? This person who might not ever reach the nascent soul realm, how could he be better? "You go to the continent and invite him to meet me," the true word Venerable said. Chen Jing showed surprise and asked, "Master, are you planning to take him as a disciple?" Rarely did he hear his master praise someone. Even rarer was for her to make comparisons with him. The true word Venerable replied candidly, "You are not his equal." Chen Jing relaxed, suddenly remembering that Jiang Fan was a listed disciple of Venerate Zinni. However, matters discussed by divinity transformation and the Bodhisattvas were off-limits to him, yet Jiang Fan could participate among them. He could hardly believe he was inferior to a core formation practitioner. Time is like water droplets falling from the eaves. Though small, they will eventually carve holes of time into the stone. A month's time drops like water into Jiang Fan's heart. He stood by the grave. His hand rested on the tombstone as if holding her shoulder. "Ling Shu, it turns out there's more here than just grasslands, stars, and cattle. There's also morning dew, mist, and the chirping of insects." He gently stroked the cold tombstone. Jiang Fan's heart was like a still lake, unable to take in the slightest breeze, stirring no waves. It turns out the same scenery can be exhausting. What's truly beautiful is never the scenery, it's the regret of life only as beautiful as first sight, the journey across vast mountains and rivers, the echo of never-forgotten memories. What your heart longs for is not the grassland, but the future with someone by your side. It's a pity I understood too late. Companionship came too late. He crouched down. His fingers gently traced the characters Ling Shu, his gaze soft. "Ling Shu, I must go. I'm sorry to leave you here alone forever. If you miss me, call me brother in your dreams. I will still answer you." He stared at the tombstone for a long time, then slowly stood up. He waved goodbye. A breeze swept through. The small patch of grass growing by the grave swayed gently. In a trance, he seemed to see a girl in a pale green long dress standing under the shade of a tree, turning back with a smile. Then she lightly waved her hand, smiling and smiling, slowly going farther away, until she was no longer seen. "Ling Shu!" Jiang Fan's tears fell like rain. He turned around and mounted his sword to leave. He arrived at a snow mountain. Concubine Xianxia had long been waiting by his side, silently handing him a warm towel to wipe his cheeks, looking at Jiang Fan's dim eyes. Ling Shu's sister left satisfied. "Jiang, look forward. Everyone is waiting for you." Jiang Fan looked up. Familiar figures brushed past his eyes, the complex eyes of Liu Qingxian, the saddened eyes of Xia Keoj. Gong Kei and Yue Mingzhu stood side by side. The heavenly mechanism pavilion master with eyes full of encouragement. Old acquaintances from the Green Cloud sect shouting from afar. 4 righteous brothers and sisters from the Sea clan. And many other familiar faces. They were all waiting, wondering how long he would remain in the past. Dust to dust, all is over. He looked up to the sky, retracting his tears, cupping his hands toward all directions, saying, "Please forgive my levity. Thanks to everyone's care, Jiang Fan will face the tribulation here today. If I fail, I will start anew. If I succeed, I will protect the continent and Sea clan, living up to everyone's friendship. Now, allow me to meditate for a moment." On the snowfield, concubine Xianxia had laid a thick carpet. Jiang Fan sat cross-legged, taking a Bodhi pill and swallowing it. This pill could enhance the physique and increase the chances of overcoming the tribulation. It showed extraordinary effects during the slave heart demon emperor's tribulation. After swallowing, a layer of blood-colored armor gradually appeared on his body, becoming a defense. Next, he took out the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. If the heavenly tribulation couldn't be resisted, the 5 magnetic divine light could be of some use. Then he took out the bright light brocade robe and donned it in front of everyone. After all this, he took out the most important item, the life-changing jade disc. 3 souls were already in place. Only a drop of divinity transformation blood essence was missing. He took out the jade bottle, pouring out a drop of divinity transformation blood essence. It was as hot as molten lava, exuding unparalleled chi blood power. After pouring it into the middle hole, the entire life-changing jade disc began to tremble lightly. 4 beams of light shot out from the 4 holes. They wove together in the air above the life-changing jade disc, gradually condensing into a milky white droplet filled with mysterious meaning. It was the legendary sky-reaching marrow, a kind of existence that could ensure a 100% breakthrough to the nascent soul realm. Jang Fan enveloped it with spiritual power. Fire of excitement flickered in his eyes. This moment he had waited too long, under the watchful eyes of the crowd. He opened his mouth and drank the drop of sky-reaching marrow. In an instant, heaven and earth seemed to sense it. A violent aura descended around and spread to all directions. The heavenly tribulation is coming. Unrelated people retreat outside the tribulation clouds. Concubine Xianxia stepped forward, giving Jang Fan a deep embrace, and then swiftly retreated. 10 breaths later, the frenzy continued to increase, making even those in the distance feel waves of agitation. Minds became unsettled following the frenzy. Concubine Xianxia slightly frowned. This frenzy is somewhat abnormal. Why is it so intense? She had undergone 2 tribulations and was quite familiar with the process. The current frenzy was much thicker than during her own tribulations. Moreover, it was still escalating, to the extent that the tribulation clouds, which should have appeared instantly, were long overdue. Letter 1D4F, letter 1D4FB, letter 1D4E, letter 1D65A, letter 1D66C, letter 1D4E, letter 1D48F. Letter 1D484, letter 1D490, letter 1D4F6, not only him. The heavenly mechanism, Pavilion Master, and the 4 Sea Demon Emperors, and the Slave Heart Demon Emperor exchanged glances. They all saw a trace of doubt in each other's eyes. Clearly, the frenzy before them was somewhat different from their past tribulations. It seemed too thick. As bystanders, they noticed the abnormal aura, let alone Jang Fan at the center of the frenzy. His heart skipped a beat. An ominous premonition arose, fearing his tribulation would not be simple. The problem likely lay in his dual golden core. With the effect of Venerate Zinni's 5th-grade spirit pill, that black spirit pill had also advanced to the 9th layer of core formation in the subsequent recovery. 2 golden cores impacting the nascent soul at the same time were probably deemed by the heavens as 2 people undergoing the tribulation simultaneously. Thus, the bestowed heavenly tribulation would be stronger than usual. The effect of the sky-reaching marrow's guaranteed breakthrough under such a heavenly tribulation might not suffice. Another 10 breaths passed. The frenzy had reached an unbearable level of anxiety, and the ominous clouds belatedly appeared. They seemed to emerge from the cloud layers, a terrifying thunderbolt, stretching tens of thousands of feet, and thicker than a man, flickered swiftly through the clouds. Then, boom. The explosive thunderous sound made martial artists below the 9th layer of core formation feel their chi blood surging, and a metallic taste in their throats. Those with cultivation below the 5th level of core formation were shaken to their core. The heavenly mechanism Pavilion Master furrowed his brow. This thunderous omen is even more terrifying than expected. A one-orifice nascent soul wouldn't survive a single strike. Upon hearing this, everyone was suddenly filled with terror and unease. But the tribulation clouds had formed, and retreat was impossible. The tribulation of Jang Fan was not to be witnessed by anyone below the nascent soul. The terrifying lightning of 10,000 feet was like a warning to the observers. Just as they barely retreated, the dark clouds began to change. With the dark clouds above Jang Fan's head as the center, the vast clouds started to rotate slowly, forming a massive cloud eye with a diameter of 200 feet. The cloud eye gradually turned red. Like a branding iron slowly heating up, it cast a red hue on the dim, lightless world. Jang Fan looked up, his expression grave. He saw clearly. Inside the cloud eye were all lightning, blood-red lightning. Unlike the pale lightning during the tribulation of Slave Heart Demon Emperor and Beihai Crown Prince. The lightning in front of him was actually bizarre blood thunder. The power they emitted was enough to make him, whose physique had reached the peak of one-orifice nascent soul, have his hair stand on end. Is this really the result of dual golden core? Jang Fan gasped, his expression extremely serious. If it's this dangerous, there's no reason for Bai Luo not to mention it. But there's no time to think about the reasons. The cloud eye was turning more and more red, as if the clouds were burning through the openings, casting a blood-red glow on the earth. Boom! A blood thunder surged forward, crashing onto Jang Fan. The terrifying roar instantly collapsed the surrounding snow mountains, triggering large avalanches. Jang Fan's body trembled violently, his heart jolted. His ears were left with only a blank noise. The blood-colored lightning, as thick as 3 men, engulfed him on the spot. Bang! The armor formed by the Bodhi pill was blasted to ashes on the spot. His hair, eyebrows, and body hair were turned to ashes in an instant. His whole body charred, cracking into bloody marks. Hiss! Even Jang Fan, who had experienced true spirit blood cultivation, inhaled sharply in unbearable pain. This blood thunder was almost as intense as the slave heart demon emperor experiencing 5 tribulation thunders. It was unbearable pain. However, this was only the beginning. Boom, boom, boom. 10 blood thunders fell in tandem, combining in midair, resembling an annihilating azure dragon fiercely striking down. The ground-shaking impact alone made the entire snow mountain shake. The destructive blood light they carried was beyond imagination. Ah! Jang Fan let out a loud scream of pain. His skin and flesh exploded, exposing the charred muscles beneath, and in some places even bones could be seen. This heavenly tribulation is not right, it's here to kill me. No. If this continues, I'll die, Jang Fan roared lowly. Roar. But the blood thunder gave him no chance to think. 20 bolts of lightning fused into one, transforming into a blood column piercing through the heavens and earth, descending straight down. A strong sense of impending death surged in Jang Fan's heart. This strike, it would kill. 5 magnetic divine light. He raised his hand, and the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain instantly enlarged, hovering above his head while a 6-foot divine light unfolded. Boom, the earth-shattering blood column roared in. The 5 magnetic divine light pierced through on the spot, only dampening 50% of the blood thunder. The remaining vast thunder power penetrated through the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, striking Jang Fan. Bang, his body burst open like an over-roasted animal carcass on the spot. Charred flesh flew everywhere, exposing blackened bones and some scorched organs. The intense pain made his vision black out, nearly causing him to faint. But he couldn't fall. If he drifted into unconsciousness, he would be met with endless blood thunder, obliterating him completely. And in the cloud eye, the blood thunder seemed furious. The previous 20 blood thunders were stronger than the most peak of others' tribulations, and yet Jang Fan didn't die. So 40 pulsating blood thunders entwined and collided, finally merging into a giant blood-colored palm. Yes, a giant blood-colored palm, with fingers and arm and texture. This was definitely someone manipulating the tribulation thunder, aiming to kill Jang Fan from the shadows. If it were a normal heavenly tribulation, he'd die and that would be it, blaming Jang Fan for his lack of skill. But using the heavenly tribulation to kill him, this completely enraged Jang Fan. The 5 magnetic Yuan mountain was useless, but he had other means. Void Flow Thunder Force. He used the Void Flow Thunder Force that had long been feared to use again. How was this force refined? There was only one method. Absorb the power of heaven and earth's thunder, turning it into one's strength. This was the Void Flow Thunder Force. Up to now, he had only scratched the surface of cultivation, not even considered entry-level. Since he learned that he was wanted for the Void Flow Thunder Force, he didn't dare cultivate it anymore. Now there was no choice for hesitation. "Take it!" he shouted, his body operating the cultivation method of the Void Flow Thunder Force, with his palms surging with it, colliding fiercely against that towering blood palm. A magical scene unfolded. The blood palm, which should have left Jang Fan with no remains, struck his small palm as if encountering a bottomless pit. The massive blood palm was instantly absorbed into Jang Fan's palm, and as the cultivation technique circulated, it quickly settled as Void Flow Thunder Force. The Void Flow Thunder Force within his body, under the empowerment of the 40 Tribulation Thunder's strength, instantly became 100 times more powerful. Roar, roar, roar. This completely infuriated the entities in the unseen realms. A total of 100 blood thunders crashed down in unison, as if a blood-red sky curtain had collapsed. Viewers beyond the scene also saw this spectacle. All were shocked. What is this? Is the sky falling? Is this still a tribulation? This is clearly a death sentence for Jang Fan to have no resting place. Many felt despair. How could Jang Fan survive such an attack? Even a second-stage nascent soul would lament in the Yellow Springs, on the other side of the dark clouds. Chen Jing stood on a mountain peak, eyes filled with shock. Blood thunder. Is this the infinite blood tribulation that the Master said is the most terrifying when crossing the nascent soul realm? But isn't this the legendary calamity of Saint Realm aptitude, affecting the stability of the central Earth realm that only legendary beasts crossing would experience? The Master has never seen it, only saying it's a tribulation found only in legends. He couldn't believe it. He had merely traveled across the continent, and now witnessed the legendary infinite blood tribulation. Watching the blood-colored sky curtain, even he, a 4 apertures nascent soul, felt a slight chill down his spine. This strike even he must take seriously to withstand. The tribulator was just a Jiden Jr., how could they withstand it? Jang Fan was still digesting the blood thunder within and couldn't absorb much more. But to let him die? No way, undying blade! He roared, unleashing all the thunder power within his thunder pill. At the same time, the void flow thunder force, now 100-fold stronger, merged within. The 2,000-foot pale undying blade rapidly expanded to 10,000 feet long, one white, one red entwined together. Like a blade formed by 2 thunder dragons, it slashed fiercely toward the sky curtain. Screech. The sky curtain was indeed split apart. This slash cleaved the sky curtain open. The residual sword might swept through the 9 heavens, slicing into that cloud eye. The massive dark clouds trembled violently, ripped open by an enormous gap. The crowd was utterly stunned by this heaven-splitting slash. Even Chen Jing inhaled sharply, eyes filled with fear. What is that? Is it the undying blade from the 10,000 tribulations' holy temple? No, it's an existence more transcendent than the undying blade. At this moment, he seemed to sense something, suddenly looking toward the gap ripped open by the undying blade. He stared, eyes wide with shock, and shouted in horror, "Someone! How can there be someone in the tribulation clouds?" Marquis, but within the crack, there was a silhouette. A black cloak billowed in the wind, riding a white bone warhorse, stepping upon a blood moon. Holding a black long spear exuding the might of world destruction. Looking down upon Jang Fan from above. Jang Fan slashed at the sky curtain. The apocalyptic thunder tribulation swept past his body towards either side. He too saw the anomaly in the sky. It was not a real entity, but a projection reflecting from an unknown place. He also saw, behind the White Bone Warhorse, a string of bloody heads being dragged. Some were of the human clan, some of the demon race, and many more were of races Jang Fan couldn't name. All looked so young. Each one preserved the pain or unwillingness from before dying. All had a pale yellow, ancient token in their mouth. It was the ancient token. This person was chasing the holders of the ancient token across realms. The shadow lifted the black spear, looked down at Jang Fan, and issued a distant, emotionless voice. "You the 19th one?" The black spear stabbed ferociously. The calamitous clouds above suddenly contracted, becoming as thick as ink. The blood thunder of tribulation condensed to an extreme. A total of 200 blood thunders transformed into a towering blood-red spear, stabbing towards the seemingly insignificant Jang Fan on the ground. This strike reached the peak of the Great Tribulation. Endure it and the infinite blood tribulation ends. Fail and turn to dust. Chen Jing, watching from afar, had his pupils contracted to the limit. A 5 apertures nascent soul strike. How could a Jiden Jr. withstand this? This man is bound to die. Jang Fan too felt the boundless aura of death approaching him. The mountains and earth trembled under this strike. So did he. But he never resigned to fate. If they wanted to kill him, they would have to pay the price. His left hand circulated a cultivation technique, absorbing the previously split-apart blood thunder from the sky curtain, transforming it into stronger void flow thunder force. His right hand pointed skyward. A terrifying war sword, 15,000 feet in length, swept back through the air towards the blood spear. Destructive black spear, soul-taking thunder sword. The two unparalleled fierce weapons clashed in a heavenly collision over the northern sky of the demon race. The tangible shock wave formed a pattern of blood-red thunder sweeping around. Chen Jing's expression changed, quickly retreating, a shocked look on his face. What on earth is this person cultivating? Why is it so terrifying? This strike of the undying blade, even Chen Jing wasn't confident he could withstand it. Amid the fierce clash, the descending blood thunder spear paused, its surface dimmed considerably, yet it had been reduced by 2/10 by the undying blade. However, after a momentary stalemate, the undying blade shattered on the spot. The dreadful apocalyptic blood spear surged down, piercing fiercely into Jang Fan's body. In an instant, the ancient snow mountain beneath him finally couldn't bear it, collapsing with a rumble. Jang Fan fell along into the mountains, lying amidst countless scattered stones. Yet he wasn't dead. A golden Buddha hovered in front of his chest. The golden radiance emitted fiercely blocked the blood spear 3 feet away from his chest. The shadow atop the moon grew furious. The tribulation clouds were exhausted, and yet this person held out until the end. Die! The shadow hurled the spear he was holding at Jang Fan on the ground. A destruction shadow more terrifying than the blood spear, exuding a mighty pressure that made all beings prostrate, crossed the sky towards Jang Fan. The golden Buddha light, after a brief resistance, shattered dramatically. The blood spear now faced no more obstacles, instantly piercing through Jang Fan's body. At this moment, his body exploded open, revealing bloody ribs, the squirming viscera inside, and fractured bones of his arms. Boundless pain like a tsunami engulfed him, his consciousness plunged into darkness. Chen Jing looked on wordlessly, traces of pity on his face. This is too unfair. This isn't a tribulation, it's murder. A cross-realm assassination by an endless powerhouse. With his physique, he could have easily overcome the tribulation. From the other side, the heavenly mechanism pavilion master, full of despair, angrily gazed at the attacking moonwalking shadow. Who are you? Jang Fan could have succeeded in overcoming the tribulation. He could have. He worked so hard, bore great ambitions, intended to fulfill the legacy of his predecessors, and complete the Millennium Dream for the heavenly mechanism pavilion. Why treat him like this? So unfair. Slave Heart Demon Emperor's tears rolled down. Jang Fan was already reduced to bones by this strike. Master, with you gone, for whom does Slave Heart's title exist? Concubine Xianxia lowered her head, shutting her eyes in pain. Silent sorrow, soundless grief. They barely escaped the Sky Demon Emperor and could finally be with Jang Fan openly. Yet the result is this. Xia Caoj stared dumbly, her eyes damp. The one person who could bring her joy at first sight in this world was gone forever. Liu Li held her stomach, her face full of bitterness. She had fantasized about a family with Jang Fan. But it all came to such an abrupt end. Yizhu Demon Emperor staggered, face pale, a pain piercing her heart. Memories of Jang Fan in the East Sea surfaced, bringing forth sorrow, tears streaming. Old Dream Demon Emperor's tears flowed, heart feeling empty, as if losing someone very important. Do some feelings end before they even begin? Liu Qingxian stared dumbfounded as the blood spear was deeply embedded in the earth. As if drained of strength, she fell to her knees, eyes brimming with tears, murmuring in disbelief. Fan is dead. No, it can't be. She got up, ignoring the remaining tribulation clouds, and stumbled forward. Give Fan back to me, we won't overcome this tribulation. I'll take him back to the Green Cloud sect. Let him be a carefree disciple. We want nothing, nothing at all. I beg of you to bring Fan back to me. Watching her figure, hearing her helpless cries. The hearts of all present grew heavier with sadness. The martial path realm is said to be treacherous, life's impermanence constant. Today's companions who drink and laugh may tomorrow become a lonely grave, a solitary tombstone. At this moment, the words life's impermanence became a stark reality. Even someone like Jang Fan fell. In the sky above, the shadow rode the White Bone Warhorse, stepping on the blood moon, gazing coldly at the impaled Jang Fan. You shouldn't have taken the ancient token. He beckoned, and the black spear drew a cold arc towards Jang Fan's neck. The head is his trophy, and Jang Fan is the 19th trophy. Jang Fan's consciousness plunged into darkness. This is the darkness of death, the eternal slumber. Am I dead? In the endless darkness, Jang Fan's heart murmured. Enough, let it end here. Letter 1D557, letter 1D5FF, letter 1D556, letter 1D410, letter 1D430, letter 1D5F2, letter 1D680, letter 1D428, letter 1D696. So tired. I should rest now. At this moment, a faint voice called out, Brother, brother, brother. The muted calls echoed through his darkened consciousness. It was Ling Shu's voice.